Oh, man, that was such a loud sneeze, dude. Oh, man, my nostrils opened up. Oh, man, ever since the Chernobyl reveal, I've been like a few days. I've been a few days off screen touching grass, man. It's crazy. It's like, I don't get it. We've been reading, and then I read a review in volume 6. Whoa. I need a day or two, you know, just to digest what we've been reading, dude. It's good. It's good. Well, I hope you guys are ready, man, because we're going to keep reading volume 6. I know it's a little bit early in the day for you guys. I think Wiz just streamed, right? So, that being said, chapter 1170. And if you guys like what you're going to, yo, here, take the beer now. Hey, thank you. Hold my beer. Here, we're going to read like 100 chapters this stream, all right? You guys ready? You ready, Sunless? I'm sorry, I was supposed to do like 30 minutes of Shadow Slave off stream, but I didn't get to it. But here, we're doing 100 chapters in one stream. Are you guys ready? 1170. All right, let's go, bro. Yep, here we go. All right, chapter 1170 is called Ritual. Backland Northborough, Leonard, who was just arranged a mission for his team, saw the boundless gray fog and heard Mr. Fool's response. He let out a long sigh of relief and said in a low voice, "Seems like are no more problems." I mean, we'll probably say in chat, explain easy, probably. Well, we'll see what happens. Since Mr. Fool was able to provide feedback as per normal and convened the terror gathering, it meant that he had already won the battle against AMON. This way, Klein was likely be able to escape from his predicament, and Leonard's mind, Palazzaro's slightly aged voice scoffed. Wow, I'm not in streamer mode right now. When you'll read what talk next? Yeah, that'll probably be better. Wait one sec. Am I recording? Yes, we're recording. Don't count your chickens until they've hatched. I've never heard that expression in this series. Don't count your chickens until they hatched. After you enter Sephira Castle, observe that the fool is wearing a monocle on his right eye to see if he's been taken over. Are you saying that the present fool might be AMON in disguise? Leonard's eyelids twitched as he hurriedly asked. Palas sighed and said, "You can't eliminate this possibility. AMON can really do such a thing." I will take a note. Leonard relaxed and stated, "Relax," his state of mind instantly tense up again. Yo, D, thank you, man. Thank you for being member 1, man. Oh shit, thank you, dude. On the feature in the Sonia Sea, Mr. Fool actually responded after so much time. This mean that the world Gurmit's Sparrow disappearance had something to do with his plan? I can't be sure. Perhaps Mr. Fool lacks the response during this period of time. I'm gonna raise the volume a lot more. Does this mean that the world Gurmit's Sparrow disappearance had something to do with his plan? I can't be sure. Perhaps Mr. Fool lacks a response during this period of time was to save Gurman Sparrow, and now he has succeeded. I think this is good. And now he has succeeded. He didn't directly mention this matter. He is planning to let the world tell the story of the Tarot Gathering. After hearing Mr. Fool's voice, many thoughts instantly flashed across Catlea's mind. From Queen Mystic's letter, she suspected that George III's death was due to Mr. Fool's interference. The disappearance of the world Gurman Sparrow was also an extension of this matter. True. Catlea's first reaction was to write to Queen Mystic Bernadette and tell her that Gurmit's Sparrow has been found. However, dude, thank you so much. However, after some thought, she suppressed her urge and she prepared to participate in the afternoon's gathering. She wanted to know what the detail and figure out what she could and couldn't say before sending Queen Mystic feedback. Regardless, it seems like the matter has been resolved. The Admiral Stars exhaled and sat by the window in peace as she took in the blue sky. In the periphery of the primitive forest of the Sonia Island, you a builder? I thought you said you're a butler. Oligar Wilson stood on a thin tree branch. Wow, it's gonna take me one chapter to get in streamer mode. I apologize. Oligar Wilson stood on a thin tree branch, looking at the port and the blue skies not far away. The strong winds around him swirled without dispersing as they affected the trees nearby. As illusionary grayish-white fog appeared, Oligar first was delighted before he felt a little terrified. Mr. Fool only responded after quite some time. This means that his previous statement was indeed a little abnormal. However, he has already recovered. He didn't respond to my lone request regarding the sun's unshattered crucifix. He discovered my test and discovered a hint of my hidden thoughts. I can't do such thing again in the future. Mr. Fool has only issued a simple warning this time. He might punish me directly next time. It ain't that deep, bro. Thou shalt not test God. Thou shalt not test God. As the thoughts raced, Olgar lowered his head and piously said, "Thank you for your kindness and forgiveness." Backland inside the Hall's family, Lutcher's villa. Mr. Fool then passed on my question to Mr. World. Is this because the Tarot Gathering will proceed as normal in the afternoon and there will be time for us to communicate? Audrey realized certain problems when the delay in response. Generally speaking, Mr. Fool replies very timely. It was more than 15 minutes this time. He was handling other matters, very important matters. Is it related to George III's death? Regardless, a 15-minute delay wasn't too serious a problem. Audrey quickly retracted her thoughts and felt much better. I'll know the truth from Mr. World later. I hope that this incident won't have any more serious consequences. Other than that, a full-scale war. At this moment, war is already unavoidable. Northborough and Backland, beneath St. Samuel Cathedral, Mr. Fool didn't say that he would help me. Emlyn White held a cup of red liquid and frowned slightly. He then interpreted the symbolic meaning of the response from another angle. Mr. Fool specifically emphasized that the tarot gathering will proceed as normal in the afternoon. He wants to tell me that the opportunity to escape from the predicament lies with a member. Could it be the start? In short, I should be able to leave this week. He got a lot of donations today. Oh, because he finished it? Wiz got like 200 Australian dollars. Damn! Jesus, that is a lot. Emlyn had been taken into protective custody and kept behind St. Samuel Church's Channis Gate. So no matter what happened in the outskirts of Backland, it was unlikely for it to affect him. Furthermore, it was impossible for him to suddenly escape from prison and head to the places like the Blood Emperor ruins. Therefore, when Klein hinted to the other members last week, he hadn't been involved. Damn, that's a lot. In the Berg household in the city of Silver, upon hearing Mr. Fool's response, Derek jumped up from bed. The excitement from his face was overflowing. Mr. Fool hasn't disappeared. Mr. Fool hasn't forsaken the city of Silver like the creator did. He paced back and forth a few times, feeling the urge to immediately rush out of the room and head to the Twin Towers where he could tell the chief the good news. However, having had more than a year to mature, those experiences had left him a clear mark on him. Finally, he calmed down and decided to attend the tarot gathering and obtain the promise of receiving the blessings before he sought the chief again. Perhaps the lack of response during this period of time was a test of me. The chief in the city of Silver once said by Mr. Fool he wanted to see if he would rapidly lean towards the fallen creator. It was unknown when Derek's thoughts processed a hint of the hanged man's colorful thoughts. It was unknown when Derek's thoughts processes had a hint of the hangman's colorful thoughts. What? Reasonable development, definitely. Of course, he didn't have any other thoughts because of this. From what he knew, it was very normal for deities to test their believers. Back then, the creator had left behind many similar legends. Despite being done with his competition, Derek still couldn't sit still, and he continued pacing back and forth in his room. He had never felt such anticipation towards the tarot gathering in the afternoon. In the city of Silver and the Forsaken Lands gods, the afternoon was a relatively abstract constant, as there weren't enough labels to confirm the time. They couldn't only use the frequency of the lightning to define day and night without going into any finer details. True. Backland Eastborough, inside a 2-bedroom rental apartment. After receiving Mr. Fool's response, Forrest couldn't help but laugh out loud. As a bestseller author, she had a rich imagination. Before Mr. Fool responded, she had already come up with one terrifying story after another, all that in 15 minutes. Mr. Fool had exchanged his death for George III's failure. Mr. Fool's ploy was discovered by the deities and was besieged. Mr. Fool's old energies relapsed and he fell into a deep sleep. Without his blessings, the world Gurmansborough was being pursued by his enemies. Damn, she came up with all this. These stories didn't develop in the same way, but the end was very similar. Forrest would once again succumb to the full moon's ravings, eventually losing control and becoming a monster. Yeah, we don't want that to happen. Phew, Forrest exulted and said to Shio with a beaming smile, I just realized today that Mr. Fool is the most important man in my heart. I just realized today that Mr. Fool is the most important man in my heart. A him? Forrest is tweaking? Dude, is Forrest in love? What's going on here? More importantly, you have become a demigod as soon as possible and completely escaped with the curse of the full moon. Shio replied seriously. Oh shit. After joining the Turk Club, she had learned of her friend's true situation. Yeah, Forrest nodded and said with a smile. In short, I need to drink a glass of wine to celebrate. Oh, I'm back. Yo, what's up, dude? Welcome back, love. Above the Great Fog inside Sephira Castle, after calming down, Klein used cognitation to restore his spirit body state. When I first learned cognitation, I was required to imagine something that doesn't exist in this world so as to replace what's on my mind. That way, I remember that volume 1 when he was trying to envision the missiles. That's what you guys talked about last stream. That way, I can truly enter cognitation. At that time, my first reaction was to outline an intercontinental missile from Earth, but I didn't succeed because oh my god, that is so hype. It literally brings it back, but I didn't succeed. Now music is way too loud. I didn't think too much about it back then. Now, in hindsight, this might have already spelled certain problems. It's not something that doesn't exist in this world, but one that has been snuffed out in the fog of history. Klein rubbed his temples and naturally recalled a matter of the past. He immediately focused his mind and planned on attending Miracle Invoker Potion Formula before the Terror Club. At that moment, AMON was patiently guarding the spot where he had died. He could only stay in Sephira Castle, so there was nothing else he could do. After some consideration, he grasped towards the exterior of the ancient palace and pulled in an item from the Grey Fog's historical void. It was a black notebook bound with a hard paper cover, the Antigonus family notebook. What if we summon everybody, right? Like, what if, like, Klein sends the entire Terror Club to, like, 8v1 AMON? And, like, just buy enough time for him to get his body back. Sure enough, it's not a manifestation of the uniqueness. It's just that there are some powers left behind by the half-moon of the Antigonus family. Klein sighed and threw the notebook onto the long bronze table in front of him. This was because the content of the notebook might be problematic. He didn't intend to decipher the formula of the SEQ.2 Miracle Invoker through it. He was only using it as a medium for divination, okay? Following that, Klein conjured a pen and paper and wrote a divination statement, the original owner of this notebook. Putting down the pen, he picked up the paper and notebook, leaned back in his chair, and repeated the words he had just written. After repeating it 7 times, he entered a hazy dream. He saw a mountain peak that reached into the clouds. At the top of the mountain, there was a dilapidated, towering palace that was separated from reality. In the palace, there were many places covered with moss and weeds. At the very end of the hall was a huge stone chair. Its surface was inlaid with dull gemstones and gold. In the middle, countless transparent maggots were huddled into the cluster as they slowly squirmed and grew, extending out like slippery tentacles covered in patterns. Unlike before, this time, Klein saw the monster directly and clearly saw his actual appearance. The palace above the Great Fog suddenly began to shake violently, and Klein's figure was hoisted up in midair, so he gets pulled up. In the next second, his spirit body collapsed into numerous squirming worms of spirit that crawled all over the ground. Sephira Castle immediately quaked, and everything returned to its original state. Okay, we're good. Klein's spirit body took form once again. He sat at the full seat and rubbed his temples before saying with a wry smile, "It really is the half full with the uniqueness." Oh shit, so it really was Abraham. So fucking Abraham, like the OG Abraham of the Abraham family, was a half full? It really is the half full with the uniqueness. As after he muttered to himself, Klein did a slight recollection before picking up the pen and beginning to write down the knowledge he had obtained from prying into the secrets. Abraham? Abraham! Yes, it was Abraham. We literally said Abraham. Oh, Antigonus. I'm stupid. Not Abraham. Bro, reread. No, not Antigonus. Why am I saying Abraham? Antigonus. I was thinking of the Abraham family. No, the Antigonus family. No, like Antigonus. Like, yeah, my bad. Engagement bait. I got you guys. You guys fell for the oldest trick in the book, man. After he muttered to himself. Klein did a slight recollection before picking up the pen, beginning to write down the knowledge he had obtained from prying into the secrets of the mythical creature. SEQ.2 Miracle Invoker. Duh. Main ingredients: 1 heart of the dark demonic wolf, god of wishes. Dark demonic wolf. That is not the other wolves that helped us out earlier. They weren't dark demonic wolves. Or the beyond characteristics of another miracle invoker. Supplementary ingredients: I don't want to read the advancement. See, it's the next line. 300 milliliters of dark demonic wolf's bane, 1 worm of time, 1 worm of star. Advancement ritual: return a piece of history that has been left behind to the present era. Return a piece of history. Klein has to return something from his era? Advancement ritual: return a piece of history that has been left behind to this present era. Holy shit, dude. I figured he at least take from his era. But I guess, huskies. Yeah, it's like a husky. They look like wolves, even though they're dogs. Okay, so it doesn't have to be specific from his era. Just returning a piece of history that has been left behind. But I feel like it'd be easier if it's something from his era. The third one, all right? Chapter 1171 is called The Third One. So it can be history from the 2nd, 3rd, or even the 4th epoch. Okay, as long as it's been forgotten, it qualifies. Okay. Let a piece of history that has been left behind return to the present era. Return, not reappear. The meaning of the two are completely different. It's not sufficient for me to write the true history of the 4th epoch or the 3rd epoch and disseminate it to complete the ritual. Klein's right hand, which was holding the fountain pen, paused as he instinctively analyzed the contents of the miracle evoker potion. After some thought, he found something that perfectly matched the ritual requirements. That way, to let the people of the city of Silver escape the forsaken lands of gods and return to the northern and southern continents, allowing the history that had been left behind for 2,000 to 3,000 years return to the present era. Okay, that can work. This isn't any easier than escaping Amon's pursuit. The only way to leave the forsaken lands of gods is to enter the Giant King's court and open the palace where the Dark Angel Sasir is in deep slumber. I wonder what happens when that happens. Tongue twister. This is the ancient sun god's negative personality. It's ranked first among... I forget it's ranked first. It's ranked first among the king of angels, and it's known as the left-handed god, the deputy of heaven. He might even be stronger than the current Amon. Oh shit. Besides, his current state is being watched by the various deities. Yes, the more vulnerable, controlled aspect of this compared to my escape from Amon is that I can make sufficient preparations. Klein slowly exhaled and felt that there was a certain chance of completing the ritual. In fact, he knew very well that even without him, the city of Silver would make repeated attempts to open the door to the Giant King's residence and find a way to leave this forsaken land. It was as if they were moths darting towards the flames, even at the cost of death. No matter what, with my participation, the chance of success will definitely be higher than what it is now. Klein subconsciously wanted to open the door to the Dark Angel slumber ground to attract them on, creating chaos to offset the damage caused by the Dark Angel's awakening. This was a tactic he was rather familiar with. However, he eventually rejected this idea because it was too dangerous. After spending some time with Amon and finally seeing the level of the King of Angels, Klein instinctively began to fear these terrifying existences. He no longer wanted to use conflict between them to create chaos. Oh, now he's scared? Just their existence alone could cause irreparable damage to the surrounding beyonders and the entire region. Under such circumstances, trying to rely on them to create a chaotic situation was no longer tottering on the edge of the abyss. If one wasn't careful, they would fall into abyss and into eternal damnation. Therefore, it was best not to try. Damn, fucking how strong are they, dude? Unless he had no other solution to the point of escaping, being just wistful thinking, Klein didn't want to make such an attempt. Indeed, a portion of a miracle invoker's beyond her powers comes from history, which is why there's a ritual requirement like this. How did the other scholars reviewer complete it? Looking at the parchment of the long bronze table, he thought of a possible solution from another angle. If it were me, the only solution I can think of is to isolate some people of history from reality. Only when they are forgotten will I allow them to return to the present era. This might take centuries or even longer. What an evil act, huh? It reminds me of the Peach Blossom Springs. Peach Blossom Springs? What is this? Those people living in Utopia, always from the outside world, share some characteristics. After some thought, Klein believed that the difficulty of this ritual, Scholar Yor, was whether they could survive until the ritual was held. Furthermore, there were too many accidents that could interrupt self-isolation like that. The Forsaken Lands of Gods had perfectly resolved these issues, but it also brings with it greater problems. Dark Angel Sasir, what is the condition of the Heaven's Deputy right hand now? Is it related to the resurrection of the ancient sun god of... That is so hype if that happens. The level involved in such a matter has already reached the ceiling of this world. What am I always involved in such matters? Klein gave a self-deprecating laugh. He could roughly guess that this was due to the destiny Sephira Castle brought him. After all, Blasphemer Amon was unwilling to shoulder such a destiny. Retracting his wandering thoughts, he focused his attention back on the Miracle Invoker potion formula. The Worm of Star is from the Apprentice Pathway. The supplementary ingredients contain 3 high-sequence spiritual materials of 3 neighboring pathways. I'm already made of the Worms of Time into Fate Siphon Charms. There's no way to restore them. You can't undo it. Let Nenard's grandpa lend me another one. How can that be called lending? I'm going to use an upgraded version of Yesterday Once More charm to exchange for it. Where should I find the Worm of Star? There aren't many demigods from the Apprentice Pathway that live in the real world. The Aurora Order Saint of Secrets, Bautis. However, I'm stuck in the Forsaken Lands of Gods and can't deal with him. All I can do is ask Matt Hermit and Queen Mystic for help. At the same time, I have to urge Miss Magician to become a traveler as soon as possible. Yes, I can also get her to ask her teacher where Worms of Stars might be. There's actually only one main ingredient. It's either the heart of the dark demonic wolf. I'm sorry. The full title for Flagera was Dark Demonic Wolf Flagera. Wasn't that Flagera's full title? Dark Demonic Wolf Flagera? Dark demonic wolf or the beyond characteristics produced by the other miracle evokers. It's no longer 2 as 1. Yes, that also means that at this level there are very few scattered characteristics. They've all gathered. The dark demonic wolf is also known as the god of wishes. That's a standard angel, a subsidiary god. If I can't find any materials that can be used, wouldn't I be slaying a god? The level of an angel can already be considered a hidden existence. There's a fundamental difference from being a sequence 3. The level of an angel can already be considered a hidden existence. Just thinking about it makes me scared. After making a list of helpers that he could rope in, he felt a lot more at ease. He had a feeling that he no longer feared the depths when they reach a significant amount. He lifted his right hand that was holding the fountain pen, and he continued to record what he had previously learned. Most of this was something he already knew, and he could only use it as a reminder. No, it was Annihilation Demonic Wolf Ligera. Thank you, Milosh. Finally, he wrote down the incomplete information in the corner of the parchment. Sequence 1, Attendant of Mysteries. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Wait. We're getting Sequence 1 also? I'm sorry. Finally, he wrote down the incomplete information in the corner of the parchment. Sequence 1, Attendant of Mysteries. Main ingredients, 1 Attendant of Mystery beyond her characteristics. This piece of information meant that Sequence 1 beyond her characteristics were difficult to obtain through other means with only 3 to choose from. 1 Attendant of Mysteries beyond... Like, bro, how do you even get that? That's going to be fucking hard, man, like Zara told. One of them is on the half full. Oh, wait. What about Sasrir? If he was the half full. One of them is on the half full on the main peak of the Hornicus mountain range. It's with the uniqueness. The other is with Zaratul, okay? There's still one more. According to what Leonard said, the true creator had clues to its location. Where could it be? Yes, Little Sun and the rest had hunted shapeshifters in the northern city ruins. Noise. There seems to be a high-level existence of the Seer pathway lurking there. What? Dark Angel Seer? I'm stupid. Dark Angel. Duh. I'm too excited. I'm sorry, okay? I'm trying to think, like, what's gonna happen, but I'm thinking way too quickly, and I'm saying the wrong shit at this point now. Oh, my God. Get over here. I need to reread this whole thing, or I'm over it. I need to reread this whole thing. I'm already forgetting shit, man. There seems to be a high-level existence of the Seer pathway lurking there. I wonder if it corresponds to Miracle Evoker or the Attendant of Mysteries. Klein gradually had a thought, and he planned on visiting Noise for a preliminary investigation after he resurrected and escaped Amon. It's going to be hard, man, for him to resurrect. After digesting the knowledge he had gained, he summoned his golden pocket watch from the junk pile and opened it to check the time. Before he destroyed the Blood Emperor's ruin, he had sacrificed many things he didn't need in battle above the Great Fog to prevent any damage. Despite that, he still lost quite a bit after battle and his eventual unaliving. Furthermore, they were all extremely valuable. Just the thought of it made him almost lose control. Literally thinking it makes him lose control. Easy fan fiction instead of the original. No. We'll make fan fictions for fun. Grozel's Travels, Death Knell, Creeping Hunger, Fate 7 Charm, Flaring Sun Charm, Marionette Conus and his equipment, Marionette Uni and his 2 rings, and the Adventures Harmonica. No, I can't think about it anymore. Thankfully, I had thrown Zig's Copper Whistle above the Great Fog ahead of time, so he lost all that. I had thrown the Zig's Copper Whistle above the Great Fog ahead of time. Thankfully, I can still summon the historical void projections of these items. They're just accompanying me in a different form. Probably not for Grozel's Travels. Client's... Wait, he lost it? Probably not for Grozel's Travels. Klein's temples throbbed as he couldn't help but feel heavy. He sighed and seriously mourned over time, especially the mystical items he had accompanied for him for a long time. Creeping Hunger. No, we actually lost all this shit. No, there's no way we actually lost all this. Really? We actually, like, all this is gone. After a long silence, Klein forced his attention back to the present. Fuck, man, he lost so much. This is so bullshit. How the fuck do we lose Death Knell, Grozel's Travels, Creeping Hunger? Yes, we can make more Siphon Charms in the future, but still, like, bro, we lost, like, literally our entire arsenal. But we got a Zix... We have a Zix Copper Whistle. Fine. All right, we still got the thing we got at the beginning of the series. Fuck, man. He sighed and seriously mourned over the items, especially the mythical item he had accompanied him for a long time, Creeping Hunger. Yo, the Easy Live. Yo, what's up, dude? After a long silence, Klein forced his attention back to the present. As he waited for the Terry Gathering to begin, he casually thought about the ancient sun god and the other matters, such as Chernobyl. Suddenly he frowned slightly. Since this is my hometown, there have never been transmigrators. They're all ancient humans that were released by Sephira Castle. Then do places like the Chaos Sea also have similar existences? Will Chernobyl converted into a sanctuary? A sanctuary? Then do places like the Chaos Sea also have similar existences? Was Chernobyl converted into a sanctuary? According to what Amon said, and what I saw in my divination, the ancient sun god had indeed woken up in Chernobyl. Then is he a transmigrator released from Sephira Castle or a survivor of a sanctuary? A sanctuary? He did die? Or a survivor of a sanctuary. If it's the latter, who's the third? I'm sorry. What? Why is this still up in the air? So if he's a survivor, then he wouldn't be one of the people in the cocoons? Who the fuck would it be then? If it's the latter, who's the third person inside of the cocoon? Upon thinking of this, Klein was alarmed as his pupils dilated slightly. He already had a certain guess about the history of the elves. It likely had nothing to do with Sephira Castle. This way, he still couldn't find the correct corresponding identity of the third, or more correctly, the first transmigrator. It's Susie, man. I'm gonna laugh if that happens, man. That'd be crazy ass. Like what will even the foreshadowing be behind that, man? There has to be at least like one hint of foreshadowing behind the first transmigrator, man. This transmigrator didn't seem to leave behind any traces in history. Without any hesitation, Klein's consciousness snaked into the grayish white fog. With the power of Sephira Castle, he became directly to a certain part of history that was relatively distant. It was made up of many fragments of light, and the clearest one was a suspended zoomigri above the door of light. And beside zoomigri, and the corresponding fog of history was instantly lit up due to his sufficient knowledge of Roselle. He saw a young man who also had his eyes tightly shut up in a cocoon. Okay, so he's asleep. There was no need to verify it. Through that sense of familiarity, the spiritual intuition, he confirmed that this was a former incarnation of Emperor Roselle Gustav Huang Tao. Damn, dude. Without bothering to appreciate Emperor's true appearance, Klein turned his gaze to the other side. There was a transparent cocoon there, and the figure inside could vaguely be seen. This is the first one. As he had already seen the other hanged figures, he had lit up many fragments of light in the fog of history. They interweaved and stimulated each other, barely allowing him to see the fuzzy area. This figure inside was obviously a woman. Evernight. Evernight goddess. No shot. It's not Evernight. The figure inside was obviously a woman. Holy shit, Evernight was the first transmigrator. Female. A thought came to his mind as he realized that he had missed a direction when he analyzed the transmigrator. Transmigrators had an objective mindset. They completely control themselves and not leave any traces that exceed to the times. But there was one thing that couldn't be avoided. It was very obvious that Sephira Castle was related to the three pathways related to Seer, Apprentice, and Marauder. After the birth of a transmigrator, they had to quickly, and then it's Audrey. No, it's definitely not Audrey. Come on, it has to be tied to this in some way. They had to quickly make a connection with one of these three pathways. Okay, if she's not tied to this, is he done got affected by the whiz? Do you know what else is a girl, Susie? You know what, Milash, you're right. You're right. They had to quickly make a connection with one of these three pathways. Not only was Klein involved in the case brought about by the Antigonus family notebook, but he also quickly had the opportunity to choose the Seer potion. In instances where Roselle was active, there was a secret order, and he got to know Zaratul early on. According to this logic, the ancient sun god with the Marauder authority was indeed one of the reasonable suspects. Klein immediately conjured a pen and paper and began listing the corresponding names he knew at that moment. For example, fourth epoch. Not that I said force. For example, fourth epoch people of the Antigonus, Zaratul, and the Abraham family, or the kings of angels surrounding the ancient sun god. Before long, Klein's gaze stopped on a few names. The first person was none other than the ancient god Phlegera, who clearly had the authority of a seer. Behind him was his subsidiary gods, the god of the dead, Salinger, and the goddess of misfortune, Amonices. The latter was also known as the Evernight goddess. It has to be her, dude. For a second, like, wait, is it alluding to Phlegera? No, it has to be. It literally has to be the Evernight goddess. Like, literally, season 1 of the fucking Dunqua decided to show her human form for, like, whatever reason. There's no shot she isn't the first transmigrator if she's not shown in, like, season 1. That has to be it, dude. Chapter 1172 is called I cannot read this word. My mouth is freaking salivating from eating sour gummy worms. Holy shit. Chapter 1172 is called Unperturbed. Klein Klein stared at the parchment in front of him for a long time without moving. After a while, he gently tapped the edge of a long model table, causing all the items that he had conjured to disappear. He summoned his golden pocket watch and opened it to take a look. He sent a message to the little son, informing him to prepare to participate in the tarot gathering. About 1,000 heartbeats later, dark red beams of light rose from the two sides of the long bronze table, condensing into different figures of different high back chairs. Without any gaps in time, all the members of the Tarot Club looked at the figures sitting at the very end of those who shrouded it in the gray fog. Seeing that Mr. Fool wasn't wearing a monocle, Leonard inwardly heaved a sigh of relief. Then he turned around and looked at the bottom of the long model table to confirm the situation of the world Clyde Moretti. Similarly to him, Catleo, Audrey, and Force instinctively turned their attention to the world German Sparrow after seeing Mr. Fool. Everybody's looking at him, dude. Holy shit. One of them, as known as the world, was in a dangerous situation, could only seek Mr. Fool's blessings. Hear me out. Flagero is a wolf is a dog. Why would they mention a dog right after mentioning the third transmigrator? Obvious foreshadowing for Susie being a transmigrator. You know what's actually funny? In a crazy world, I think that does make sense. No, in a world with mad ravings, actually does make sense. They're mentioning a wolf. Dogs are descendants of wolves. I think it is Susie. Another... Fucking I can see that. Another had failed to receive any feedback for 2 days, and she suspected that the German Sparrow had already been embroiled in the mattering regarding George III. With something definitely having happened during that time, the final one knew that George III's matter was extremely risky, and was a little worried that Mr. Fool would suffer serious injuries. Seeing that the world German Sparrow was perfectly fine without any abnormalities, Audrey retracted her gaze, courteous, and bowed towards the end of the long bronze table. Good afternoon, Mr. Fool. Your mind will be blown? We're about to find out, dude. With the world situation becoming even more chaotic, she felt a little comforted by the fact that Tarot Club could still maintain its original state. This significantly improved her mood. After the Tarot Club members bowed under Miss Justice's lead, the Fool Klein nodded slightly, indicating for everyone to sit down. Then he slowly surveyed the area and smiled. It seems like all of you were very concerned whether today's tarot gathering would proceed as usual. Upon hearing this, Alger's heartbeat sped up as he heard the thumping sounds. Without a doubt, he believed that Mr. Fool was referring to him and was giving him a gentle punishment. In other words, he had given him a chance to repent. Alger lowered his head and said with a trembling voice, "We weren't pious enough and thought too much." Why is Mr. Hangman apologizing on my behalf? Forrest, who had instructed Shio to ask Mr. Fool if the tarot gathering would proceed as scheduled, was stunned for a moment before she gave up on thinking. She then turned to the end of the long bronze table and lowered her head. She repeated, "We weren't pious enough and thought too much." She just repeated the same thing. So I wasn't the only one who had prayed for Mr. Fool over the past few days. Mr. Hangman claims to have overthought things because there was a possibility that the tarot gathering would be cancelled, causing him to have some unnecessary speculations. But Forrest shouldn't have thought of that. Audrey looked across the table and then to her side, feeling enlightened. The Fool nodded and looked around again. Such concern is considered normal. He laughed and sighed. But guys, I need your fucking help, man. I've recently used the world's body to play a game of AMON of the Forsaken Lands gods. Thankfully, we didn't have to skip the tarot gathering. Everything he said was the truth, but what the others would decipher from this information was definitely far from the actual situation. And this way, even if the news of the world German Sparrow being equal to the Fool was released, the members of the Tarot Club would only sneer in the hearts that Amon was trying his deceitfulness tricks again. To have a period of time the world German was equal to the Fool didn't necessarily mean that the world was always equal to the Fool. A portion of the truth was also a lie. All right, half truths. Playing a game with Amon, Old Man's guess was right. Mr. Fool was deliberately using Klein to bait Blaster Amon. From the looks of it, he had obtained a rather satisfactory outcome, allowing Amon to suffer a terrible loss. Leonard, who had long come up with the speculations, felt that this was completely in line with his expectations and didn't doubt Mr. Fool's words at all. Yeah, what's up, dude? Thanks for joining, Unknown. Mr. Fool didn't reply for 15 minutes because he was in a critical moment battling Amon. He has already recovered to such a state. Audrey was pleasantly surprised and shocked when she heard of that. For some reason, she felt a strong sense of honor. Alger could also tell Mr. Fool's words that he had taken another step forward. His recovery, he was actually able to hold upper hand against a king of angels. This made him even more frustrated. I got a burp. Here we're good. This made him even more frustrated at him for having doubts and testing the Fool. Mr. Fool had hinted in advance that the tarot gathering might be cancelled because he had long predicted that there would be a conflict between him and Amon. In fact, it's even possible that he had taken the initiative to create hate his episode by setting up a trap for Amon. Olger instantly made connections and felt that there was no way he could hide his thoughts in front of such a high-level existence. He warned himself once again, I can't do such things again. So Mr. World didn't provide any feedback because his body was being used by Mr. Fool to resist Amon. That Kings of Angels Amon is truly powerful. Mr. Fool actually needed to personally take action. Forrest and Shio exchanged looks, not having any more doubts about their previous questions. Katlia roughly understood the reason why the world had disappeared. She also guessed that the messenger who had the contractual ties with the world likely wasn't able to enter the forsaken lands of gods. At the same time, she was surprised by the appearance of the King of Angels appearing on a stage in the present time. She felt that this was one of the signs of the apocalypse. The apocalypse has to be book 2, man. The first thing I heard after clicking stream is Mr. Fool glazing. It's definitely deserved. Ellen wasn't aware of what happened recently. She merely looked at everyone with a somewhat blank look. For some baffling reason, he felt that he had been locked behind Chand's gate for more than a week or two. Perhaps it's been a month or two, to the point that he felt that he no longer had a grasp on the current situation. Mr. World has come to the forsaken lands of gods, and Mr. Fool used his body to engage in battle with that terrifying Amon. Derek was first alarmed before he felt a strong sense of... Oh, he's happy. Before he felt a strong sense of joy. This meant that the City of Silver's next exploration would receive tremendous help. He immediately looked towards the end of the long bronze table and he blurted out, Honorable Mr. Fool, the chief wishes to receive your blessings for a ritual. Are you agreeable to such a request? Having long learned of this from his prayers, Klein nodded slightly and said, sure. After receiving his promise, Derek couldn't help but smile. For a moment, he didn't know how to express his gratitude. 2 seconds later, he lowered his head and said loudly, my faith lies only with Mr. Fool. Only with Mr. Fool. The Fool nodded and turned to look at Madame Hermit. He warmly said, what questions do you have this time? The queen didn't say anything in her letter. Katlia was taken aback as she decided to first ask something she wanted to know. After all, she could still ask several questions. She had 8 total questions. Easy, I beg of you, get more people to boost the Discord. I need to get rid of that file size limit so I can send them. I know, man. I know. I see that too sometimes. Like, there's always a file size limit. If you guys want to boost our Discord server so we can send higher quality artwork, you guys know what server to join, man. Don't worry. My fave lies only with Mr. Fool. That's a hard ass quote, by the way. Don't worry. You know what, Milosh? We're gonna be saying it at the beginning of the ending for the next few streams. I got you. We're be doing a PSA to help boost the Discord server. She deliberated for 2 seconds before saying, Honorable Mr. Fool, what's the truth behind George III's death? Actually, about that, you're gonna want to sit down for this one. The moment that Herman said that, just as Audrey and company immediately focused their attention, this was exactly what they wanted to know. Amongst them, the Star Leonard had a certain level of understanding over the matter. He was more concerned about the deeper reason behind this incident. And among the members of the Terror Club, the only one who was more confused about the situation was Emlyn. His mind was filled with thoughts like what happened. He hadn't even read the newspapers recently, so he didn't know that King George III had been assassinated. Yeah, how would he know that? As for the son, although he wasn't sure why George III died for no reason, he didn't care at all. The Fool Klein smiled and said calmly, George III wanted to become the Black Emperor, and for this reason, he dug up the Tudor ruins, engaged in human trafficking, and created the Great Smog of Backland. He initiated a war, allowing the Phasic airships to bombard Backland. Unfortunately, he failed at the final ritual, and the secret mausoleum he needed for the ritual was destroyed. He briefly described the entire incident in the calmest tone that he could make, doing so without mentioning what he had done. It would be beneath Mr. Fool to explain the situation of his own accord. The Great Smog of Backland, the airship raid, this was all done by George III to become a god. Audrey's eyes widened as she instantly recalled the two things she had experienced before. Suddenly, she understood why the world of Gurman Sparrow wanted to stop George III from becoming a god. She knew that he was a gentle and kind gentleman, and he would definitely not allow the corporate behind these 2 tragic cases to go scot-free. If it were me, I would also have thought of doing this, and then it literally leads to one of the hardest quotes ever. Like, do you accept? Damn, man. But I would hesitate and be stopped by the possibility of the ill developments. As for Mr. World, he is firm and decisive. This is a matter that involves deities. Yes, there should also be the will of the Fool in this matter. Audrey glanced at the world of Gurman Sparrow, who was sitting silent at the other end of the long bronze model table. She nodded slightly to express her agreement. Black Emperor George III wishes to become a god. This, yes, Mr. Fool has the Black Emperor card of blasphemy. Gurman Sparrow was previously investigating the matter of the Great Smog and human trafficking. Indeed, all of these are connected together. There were actually such a secret hidden behind it. From the looks of it, Mr. Fool's goal has been achieved. His plan has succeeded, therefore he has taken one more step towards his recovery. he could now face off with the King of Angels head on. The more Olger thought about it, the more fearful and spirited he became. He felt that despite knowing of some clues ahead of time, he was completely unaware of Mr. Fool's setup. They don't even know, bro. Amidst the shock of experience by Leonard, Forrest and the other members of the Terror Club, Katlia, who was already had a premonition, suppressed her emotions and decided to ask another question. What did she get? Honorable Mr. Fool, what's the attitude of the 7 deities regarding this matter? Like, hey, man, they're tripping out, bro. Like, I don't even know what they're gonna do. Wait, did I skip something? Okay, next chapter. Advice. Let's fucking keep reading, dude. You're telling me this has one of the hardest lines in your personal opinion? Let's find out. Chapter 1173 is called Advice. Good question. The Fool client literally praised her, and he explained by using the Red Angel Evil Spirit's explanation in his own words. The 7 deities wish to have a Black Emperor, but they are not unanimous in their candidate for the Black Emperor. When George III successfully obtained the ticket to becoming one through secret preparations, the 7 deities had no choice but to accept it, regardless of whether they approved him or not. True. So that's the situation. Apart from the Moon, Emlyn, and the Sun Derek, the other members of the Terror Club were enlightened. They roughly understood why the churches acted in a rather contradictory manner when faced with the tragedies of the Great Swamp of Backland, the deaths caused by the Phasacians air raid, and George III assassination. Following that, they suddenly had a question. Since George III had already made preparations and had reached the final step of carrying out the ritual while obtaining the tacit approval of the 7 deities, why would he fail? They merely thought of an answer because Mr. Fool didn't agree to it. In the destruction of George III, Black Emperor's ritual, the churches probably didn't do anything to stop it. Perhaps they even provided some help to Mr. Fool's subordinates. The church Lords of Storms make use of the chaos to secretly do something. No, they likely wouldn't conceal it too much. Leonard recalled all the details he had previously discovered, and he was confident of his grasp over the overall situation. Because Mr. Fool didn't agree to it? Oh, that was the quote? Oh, is that the quote you guys were talking about? Because Mr. Fool didn't agree to it? That is a hard quote. I still think Adam's quote at the end of Volume 5 was hard, bro. That shit was crazy. Like, do you accept? Like, oh, like just hearing that, just reading that fucking line, bro. It was so good, dude. Oh, shit, dude. Bro, didn't even pay attention to the cool quote. Can you accept such an outcome? Can you? I don't know, man. I'm scared. I'm scared to see where this war goes, man. I don't know. I'm scared. I really think we're gonna lose him already. I really feel we're gonna lose him already. I feel like Cuttlefish was like teasing or like foreshadowing like a Moretti death, but like rather than Melissa, I feel like it might be Benson, man. I don't know. Like it's scary. Like my heart was pounding in that moment, man. The churches probably didn't do anything to stop it. Perhaps they even provided some help to Mr. Fool's subordinates. Did the Church of Lords of Storms make use of the chaos to secretly do something? No, they likely wouldn't conceal it too much. Leonard recalled all the details he had previously discovered, and he was confident of his grasp over the situation. The 7 deities tacit approval. Mr. Fool voted, and by the way, I was expecting the quote to happen like at the end of the chapter. I love to think about how while the entire war is happening, he's literally just sleeping. He has to come back at the end, man. Mr. Fool vetoed it and sent the world Gurman and the other blessings to secretly wait, I skipped something. In the destruction of George III Black Emperor ritual, the churches probably didn't do anything to stop it. Perhaps they even provided some help to Mr. Fool's subordinates. Did the church Lords of Storms make use of this chaos to secretly do something? No, they likely wouldn't conceal it too much. Leonard recalled all the details he had previously discovered, and he was confident of his grasp over the overall situation. The 7 deities tactical approval. Mr. Fool vetoed it and sent the world and the other blessed to secretly destroy George III's apotheosis ritual. But what has this got to do with the Queen? Why did she discover that Gurman Sparrow has gone missing? Black Emperor, the Queen might have participated in an operation led by Mr. Fool and Ladder. All right. I mean, that did happen. Discovered that a participant had gone missing, Katlia made a guess at the truth through her rich knowledge and insight. At this moment, Emily had just imagined to make heads and tails of the discussions that had just been discussed, and he had managed to understand the developments outside during his time in protective custody. George III had secretly plotted to become a god and received the 7 deities' tacit approval. In the end, Mr. Fool's bless destroyed his ritual, causing him to die on the spot. Seeing that everyone was silent, the Fool looked at the hermit Katlia and said, "Any other questions?" There's nothing else at this time. Katlia bowed her head even lower. She was even more respectful than before towards the mighty figure at the end of the long bronze table. Although she had long known that Mr. Fool had the snake of fate, death console, ancient bane under him. He has a lot of connections, man. And was in the secret control of the life school of thought. He still had never expected that the powers of Mr. Fool can mobilize in the real world were able to destroy a king's apotheosis ritual. Furthermore, he had foiled a plot of a kings of angels, the son of the creator. Glazing time, definitely glazing, man. Mr. Fool's hidden forces are more exaggerated than I imagine. What effect do the members of the Terror Club exert on him? A beckoning faction, individual growth, or is it just a backup plan? Katlia instantly thought of many things and momentarily forgot that she was already Sequence 4 demigod. No matter which organization she was in, she was considered a member of the upper echelons. Just defeats this. Oh, I almost disconnected the power cable. Ooh, I felt that. Just the feats displayed by Mr. Fool is enough to make a saint lack confidence. Just as Audrey only took a glance at the Madam Hermit before she interpreted her mental state. At this moment, the Fool Klein nodded. You may begin. Upon hearing this, Leonard immediately turned to the other end of the long table, model table, and said to the world, how's your situation now? Never mind, I'm behind stream. For Shio, Audrey, and the other members of the Terror Club also cast their gaze over, expressing their concern for the World Grimm's Sparrow's situation. From their point of view, Mr. World, who was stuck between Mr. Fool and the Angel of Time AMON as a combat tool, was probably in a bad situation. His survival meant that he was already considered a lucky enough. Feeling the varied concern, Klein controlled the world and chuckled hoarsely. Not too bad, but not too good either. It's all thanks to Mr. Fool's grace that I finally obtained a secret from AMON, but I haven't completely escaped from his grasp. Without waiting for everyone to respond, he continued, I'm currently in a rather sticky situation. You don't say, bro. You're literally dead, bro. I relied on Mr. Fool's powers to enter a certain concealed state and temporarily extracted myself from AMON's grasp. However, if I were to dispel this state and return to the real world, I'll only find myself back where my body is, and it's very likely that AMON is still loitering nearby. I would like to make an attempt at finding a solution. I wonder what your opinions are regarding this matter. The meaning behind the World Grimm's Sparrow's words were very clear. He wanted to rely on himself first, leaving Mr. Fool's help as the last resort. And his actual meaning was essentially the same. Find a way to bypass the restrictions first. And in the first case, his solution didn't really work. Then he would consider living in a state of being undead. Solution. Alger and company were suddenly a little excited because these suggestions they provided would be used to fight against the kings of angels. Oh, they're hyped. Sticky, you say. Definitely sticky. If they were employed and were of use, then this would be a proud moment in their life, one that would remain for the rest of their lives. Oh, they're going to be excited to help. Audrey was just about to speak in excitement when she retracted her words. This was because she knew that she couldn't give random suggestions, otherwise it could lead to Mr. World getting caught by AMON. She thought about it seriously and realized that she couldn't come up with any useful suggestions. She could only choose to observe and learn. Must it be where your body originally was? Do you have any blood or hair that was also kept elsewhere? Alger thought for a moment and gave a suggestion of using a question. The Fool Klein thought for a moment and made the world shake his head no. Compared to his original body, a single tube of blood was too little. Thinking of it, Klein suddenly had an idea. Okay, what's this idea? Perhaps he could use the 2 tubes of blood as ingredients, combining them with other methods using alchemical life. A new body? Perhaps he can use the 2 tubes of blood as ingredients, combining them with other methods using alchemical life to create a new body. There are 2 problems. Firstly, alchemical life requires the spirit body's involvement, which we have, check. Otherwise, the final product might not be considered my body. Secondly, I don't know any demigods who can complete alchemical life. The only one barely related to them is frankly. Will I end up becoming a mushroom man? Then I'd be better off as an undead. As Klein thought about it, he nearly shivered. No shot. I haven't watched it yet. I've been wanting to watch it on stream, Milosh. I think I am going to watch it. I should have watched it yesterday before anything else. No, we're going to watch it. We'll watch it at the end. I know. I've been saving it. I have it bookmarked. I know it's Omega, right, since the reveal, but I do want to watch the trailer. I got you. We'll watch it together. Dude, I haven't had time to watch it, and I didn't want to watch it on my phone. I was like, I want to react and watch it with you guys, especially because I know you like Monster Hunter. After the Hangman suggestion was rejected, the Hermit Kalia set off from her knowledge of mysticism. She deliberated and asked, do you have a Sequence 3 sealed artifact? Why do you ask? The world asked. A Sequence 3 sealed artifact can respond to prayers with a certain range. You can make use of that. Katlia explained simply. This is a big surprise at the end. All right, bet. All I know is the update drops, I think, next week. That's all I know, because I know it's at the end of the month. Klein roughly understood what Ma'am Hermit was thinking. You're talking about descent. That's right. Get someone to set up a descent ritual at the Get someone to set up a descent ritual at the periphery, and you should be able to respond to it in your own concealed state. So it's kind of like when he used to respond to himself. Katlia first glanced at the sun and described the specific plan. Then she realized something she had asked. Do you really have a Sequence 3 sealed artifact? She originally wanted the world to seek Mr. Fool's bestowment. I'm already a Sequence 3 beyonder. Clan replied simply as he controlled the world. The members of the Terror Club were momentarily speechless, like, what the fuck? It's like, bro, I'm ready for Sequence 2. Yeah, bro, I'm actually ready for Sequence 2. So I'm gonna probably do that after. The members of the Terror Club were momentarily speechless. They knew very well that Mr. World must have advanced to Sequence 4 at the end of June to become a demigod. And now it was December of the same fucking year. The Queen once said that using the blood of the Snake of Fate to advance would make it easier for me to become a Sequence 3 clairvoyant than others. Besides, the Terror Club had given me plenty of precious mysticism knowledge. It has greatly helped me digest the potion, but even so, I still need another half a year before I have a chance of attempting to reach Sequence 3. The hermit Kalia subconsciously looked around and discovered that the other members wore stupefied and envious looks. She sighed silently and said, is my suggestion useful, Mr. World? The World Grimsborough shook his head. There's a huge restriction when responding in that state. Once he chose to descend, it would mean that he would begin the rest of his life, no afterlife, as an undead. So that's off the table. Perhaps I can combine the two methods. Yes, I can use the method of praying to the full, sea god, or the protector of magic and drama performers to leave the Forsaken Lands gods, but that's not urgent. It's easy to reveal the truth. The Forsaken Lands made the world look at the star Leonard while in thought. Leonard instantly understood what he meant. He tearfully acknowledged. I'll go back and do some research to see if there are any other ideas. Clearly, his true intention was to ask Old Man when he was back. He was an angel who knew Amon rather well. Perhaps he could come up with suggestions that no one else could think of. This was the answer the clan wanted. He merely made the world say, okay. After the discussion of how to escape his predicament came to an end, the World Grimsborough looked at Force. Help me ask the Abraham family if there was still any worms of stars that have yet to lose their spirituality. If there are, what will be the price for that exchange? A worm of star was a high-level spiritual material. Most of the time, it didn't contain any boundary characteristics, therefore their spirituality would suffer an irreversible loss. Without any special methods, it would be difficult to preserve it for a long time. Worms of star. Force was taken aback before she nodded. Alright. After receiving an answer, Klein Mayor of the World cast his gaze at the Hermit Kalia. If Miss Magician is enabled to exchange for a worm of star from the Abraham family, I would like to entrust you with a mission. What mission? Kalia asked with interest. The World said with a smile, hunt the Aurora Order Saint of Secrets Baptiz. Holy shit, dude. Katlia's gonna fight a fucking saints? Baptiz? Really? Oh, shit. I mean, like, if she can't do it, I need you to fight Baptiz. Wow. There's gonna be such a high... Oh my god, we're actually gonna fight him. Next chapter is called Joint Operation. Chapter 1100. Damn, he finished 1353. He only needs 100 more and he's done. Damn. He's done in 100 chapters? Fuck. Chapter 1000. I wish your pathway was neighboring to Demoness. He can still change to it. He can still change to it if he wants to. You know? I mean, no, if he's feeling crazy, I think he can still do it. Chapter 1174 is called Joint Operation. The Aurora Order's Saint of Secrets, Baptiz, Miss World wants to hunt him. For's first reaction was that she had heard wrongly. After all, Grimsborough had no connection to Saint of Secrets. However, she quickly had a rough idea from the world of Star that had just been mentioned. This made her suddenly excited and thrilled. This was because she... Wow, the music is... I mean, the audio is too loud on my end. Let me lower it. This made her suddenly excited and thrilled. This was because she also wanted to hunt the Saints of Secrets Baptiz to avenge her teacher's family. However, due to her lacking strength and the inability to pay for it, she had kept this thought to herself. Although it sounds like Mr. World doesn't plan on personally taking action, Ma'am Hermit is also Sequence 4 demigod, and she has the support of that Queen Mystic behind her. I can provide her the utmost support with my abilities, within my abilities. As her thoughts raised, Force cast her gaze at the Hermit beside her, waiting for her reply. After some thought, Katlia said, Baptiz is very likely a saint of the apprentice pathway. It's very difficult to hunt him. Besides, he has the Rose Redemption backing him and the true Creator's protection. With my current level, it's almost impossible for me to complete this mission solely on my own. He's done in 80 chapters, 79, including side stories. Fuck, that's crazy. That's so wild. He's almost done. The fact that we're like both 1,000+. That's wild, man. We've come a long way, man. That's crazy. Although it sounds like Mr. World doesn't plan on personally taking action, Ma'am Hermit is also seeking for demigod, and she has the support of the Queen Mystic behind her. I can provide the utmost support within my abilities. As her thoughts race, Force casts her gaze at the Hermit beside her, waiting for her reply. After some thought, Katlia said, Baltus is very likely a saint of the apprentice pathway. It's very difficult to hunt him. Besides, he has a Rose Redemption backing him and the true creator's protection. With my current ability, it's almost impossible for me to complete this mission solely on my own. You can seek the help of Queen Mystic. I will also arrange for other partners for you. Klein Mage of the World, German Sparrow, reply in a low and hoarse voice. The reward is the right to choose the spoils of words first and the mysticism knowledge that will allow you to digest a potion within the year. The race is coming to a close. I guess we got to read 30 today, tomorrow, and the rest of the week, man. We're still going to catch up. You guys think I'm tripping out, man. Yeah, and you know Wiz is gonna take his time and set up stream so nobody can miss it. And that's when we optimize and keep going. Watch. We're gonna catch up. It's December. Katlia's heart palpitated when she heard of that. She deliberated and said, when the time comes, I will try, but I cannot guarantee success. No matter how difficult this mission of hunting the Saint of Secrets was, it couldn't be as dangerous as accepting the knowledge injection process from the hidden sage. And as for the mysticism knowledge provided by the latter, they didn't necessarily aid in digestion. There's a high probability that it included mathematics, machinery, and literature. I'll be watching. Watch. Hold my beer, bro. No problem. As long as you do it seriously, I'll still compensate you with the mysticism knowledge, even if you fail in the end. The world nodded and confirmed the deal. At this moment, Force finally couldn't help but speak out. Mr. World, Ma'am Hermit, can I join this mission? I might be able to provide some help. Even if you didn't, I wouldn't have gotten you too. The Full Client secretly left and made the world nod gently. There's a spot reserved for you in this mission. Fucking joint operation. Force wasn't surprised at all. She asked curiously, what can I do? What do you need me to do? Germansor replied in an extreme calm tone. Bait? Oh shit, she's the fucking bait? Force opened her mouth, momentarily at a loss for words. She had a feeling that she knew that this would happen. With the world of Germansor continued. Similarly, you have the right to choose the spoils of war. You'll be the first after Ma'am Hermit. Also, during this period of time, I can help you recover beyond her powers like traveling. Force had never expected a reward, as if it was her greatest reward to be able to exact revenge successfully. In the future, she might even receive additional rewards for her teacher. Without any hesitation, she nodded and said, okay, let's lower the volume a bit. Just a little smidge, lower it just a little bit. To the world immediately cast his gaze towards Miss Justice. How's the digestion of your Dreamwalker potion? Thanks to the expedition and Grisel's travels and the persistence she had put into her acting, the speed at which she digested the potion was very fast. Her eyes darted around as she thought for a moment. I've already concluded the acting principles. In another 2 to 3 months, I should be able to completely digest it, okay? It's a little slow. Klein mumbled inwardly as he made the world say, create more opportunities to act. If you can digest a potion before Ma'am Hermit attacks the Saint of Secrets, I can give you Hyven Rambuses beyond her characteristics ahead of time as payment so that you can join in on the operation. Oh shit. Klein believed that he would have to stay in the Forsaken Lands of Gods for a very long time. Most of the matters in the outside world could only be intervened with through the members of the Terror Club. It was also beneficial for him to increase their strength as soon as possible. Furthermore, he wasn't directly giving it to her. The difficulty of hunting the Saint of Secrets bosses was just as Katlia had said. It was rather difficult. Alright, Audrey was just fretting over how she could accumulate more credit with Mr. World. Therefore, she naturally agreed without any hesitation when she heard his offer. In her heart, the members of the Aurora Order were lunatics and destructive maniacs. There was no need to find a reason to deal with them. In addition, Audrey had previously been troubled by her lack of experiences as a Beyonder. This gave her a chance, although it was rather dangerous. It was still an opportunity. German Sparrow sure is generous to provide the knowledge that can help a mythologist digest a potion and a sequence for a demigod characteristic. This should only be for the worm of time. It sounds like a supplementary material. He's helping the member of the Terror Club improve as quickly as possible, according to Mr. Fool's will, so as to be effective in the future. That's literally on the spot. Olger listened to the world's conversation with the other members and vaguely grasped a certain truth. A little slow, this brother is the outlier thinking others are slow. This made him, I know, like the fastest dude thinks everybody's slow. This made him rather vexed. He suspected that if he had lacked faith and had other thoughts to the point of foolishly testing Mr. Fool, he might have already been assigned a mission that could aid him in punishing pushing open the door of godhood. At that moment, Justice, who had agreed to the request, glanced at the magician and said with a faint smile, I'm looking forward to the Abraham family not having any worm of stars. Me too, Force. She's like, I want to join in on the fight. Me too, Force nodded seriously, indicating that she had the same thought. Seeing that the world was done speaking, Cantlea thought for a moment and said to the judgment, do you want to join this mission? Do some intelligence gathering or the periphery. Your ability in this area left a deep impression on me. Even without man hermit investigation, Shio wouldn't refuse in helping her friend. She nodded gently and said, I don't have a problem if the operation is in Backland. If it's somewhere else, my role would be greatly discounted. A sheriff and their own area of jurisdiction were always connected. Oh. The more familiar they were with the place, the better they could showcase their abilities. Once they exceeded the range, they could only rely on their beyond powers. Your reward is being the third to choose the spoils of wars. Cantlea looked at the star once again. If there's a need, I hope you can allow the official factions to appear at the right moment. Leonardo chuckled. I hope you don't have to go for that. My reward shall be a spoil, a war. If my dear poet friend here wasn't invited in the end, then the mission of hunting the Saints of Secrets would have nearly become a sorority for the female members of the Terror Club. The fool Klein muttered inwardly as he made the world Grimminsboro finalize the matter. All that was left was to wait for the Abraham family's feedback. Following that, Olger and Derek reached a rental arrangement for the unshotted crucifix. Okay, now we're going back to what he needed. Just as they entered the free exchange segment, Emmeline couldn't help but look towards the end of the long bronze table. Honorable Mr. Fool, can you give me a hint? How should I escape protective custody? The Fool, I think Leonard can join the sorority. I was thinking the same thing, unknown. The Fool, who was shrouded in the gray fog, nodded slightly and said simply, this week. His answer was said with great confidence, but it wasn't a prophecy, just a judgment of the situation. He is an honorary girl. He is an honorable, flamboyant, beautiful woman. Honorary. The current situation had Fasig and Intis attacking Lowen, while Finnapotter was attacking Lowen's allies, Lenberg, Mason, etc. The three churches definitely didn't wish to suffer any damage the Sanguine could bring while already having the existing enemies. Therefore, Emlyn would be released very soon, but it was hard to say for Father Trotsky. Oh shit, not for him. Similarly, the Sanguine's focus would definitely be shifted to the global situation. It was unlikely for them to have the motivation to continue probing Emlyn and his other partners. In addition, in the past 2 days, the one whose reason for praying was the most forced, apart from Shio, was Emlyn White. Klein suspected that he had been locked in the basement of St. Samuel Cathedral all this time because it was convenient for the goddess to exert her influence on him. Now the matter, did he just say a long word like flamboyant correctly? Always. Bro, never have unbelievable easy is also advancing. Never have I ever unpronounce a word, bro. Hit me with the most difficult English word. I will always pronounce it first try. Now that the matter has ended, he was no longer of any use. Combined with the three factions, it wasn't difficult to conclude that Emlyn would be free in no time. The only exception was that if this fellow had really been forgotten, be it the Church of the Evernight or the Sanguine, they had forgotten that there was such a fellow locked behind Channisgate. If that was the case, Klein would get the Star Leonard to provide him with some assistance. Emlyn heaved a sigh of relief and sincerely thanked Mr. Fool. At the end of the free exchange, the world Grimminsboro suddenly looked at the hanged man. You said that you've arrived on the Sonia Island and are inside the primitive forest. Yes, Olga replied in puzzlement. Cognitation. Superciliously. Unpronounced. You see, look, all of them. Perfect pronunciations. Yes, Olga replied in puzzlement. Grimminsboro pondered for a moment. You can try to seek out an elven ruin. Perhaps you might chance upon some sort of opportunity. Olga suddenly thought of the Book of Calamity and the scenes he had seen in his dream. He nodded thoughtfully and said, all right. All right? After another round of exchanges, the terror gathering came to an end. Audrey and company stood up and bowed before leaving the world above the gray fog. After returning to his body, Leonard immediately lowered his voice and described Klein's predicament. Finally, he said, Old man, do you have any suggestions? My suggestion, I think it's better to ask the fool for help. Palas replied without any hesitation. Leonard coughed lightly and said, aren't you going to use this opportunity to make things difficult for Amon? Monocule. Monocule. You monocule? Right? Do we get it? Oh, shut up. Chapter 1175 is called Ideas Are Very Important. Just like our pronunciations. Dude, no shot I'm saying it wrong. It's monocule. Monocule. No? Am I actually saying it wrong? Alright, before we read, I want to check the pronunciation for monocule. Here we go.
Monocule.
What the fuck? I'm saying it right. It is monocule.
Monocule.
Yeah, I am saying it right. Easy said that so well. Is it imposter? You guys been swindled, man. Chapter 1175 is called Ideas Are Very Important. Making things difficult for Amon, Palazros chuckled. What benefits can there be? Otherwise, forget it. Leonardo was momentarily at a loss for words. After a few seconds, he said, at least it can make you feel good. Palaz chuckled. I will feel better if you don't bring this topic up. Damn, you scared. Without waiting for Leonardo to respond, this sequence went Angel from the Marauder Pathway side with his slightly aged voice. Doesn't your former colleague have a deceit charm? Perhaps you can use this to come up with a solution. After getting rid of Amon's avatar in Backland, Palaz had given the godhood symbols and magic labels needed for making 4 charms: Deceit, Parasite, Deprivation, and Aging to Leonard. Leonard had passed on this knowledge to Klein, and the latter had used the knowledge of the Worms of Time to create 1 Deceit, Parasite, and Deprivation bullet each. Oh, yeah, that's how we got the bullets. Did you type Monaco? Yeah. That's how it was pronounced. Later on, he had used them to deal with Conus Kilger, but Leonard wasn't aware of this. Leonard whispered thoughtfully, Old man, are you saying that by using the deceit charm, you can mislead Amon and cause him to misidentify the location, preventing him from influencing Klein's escape? In his mind, Palaceros snapped back. Do you think it's possible to use a deceit charm in front of Marauder Pathway Kings of Angels? Yes. It's impossible. Leonard laughed dryly and pressed in a thick-skinned manner. What do you mean then? Palaceros' voice suddenly sounded more spirited. Deceive the role that one can only return to where one's body is? What? Did I? You guys spell the word molecule right. I will copy and paste you right now, Milash. Yes. Wait, so I don't get this role. Deceive the role that one can only return to where one's body is. So we have to set it where I'm copy and pasting the word. So we have to make it where it doesn't have to be that one location. Is that what that is? You know what's funny? I did spell monocle wrong. All right, here we go. You guys ready?
Monocle.
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 So it's not monocule. Oh, it's monocle.
Monocle.
It's a fucking monocle. I'm fucking stupid. It's fucking monocle. Deceive the role that one can only return to where one's body is. We change the locations. Brain blast? Brain blast. Deceive the role. That works too. Leonard asked and shot. Palas gave a self-deprecating laugh and sighed. Compared to deceiving Amon, deceiving a rule is much easier. Wait, deceiving a rule is much easier than deceiving Amon. Okay. Damn, it's monocle. Wow. We fucking did it, man. Yeah, dude. We fucking did it. It's a fucking monocle, dude. Not monocule. I'm fucking illiterate. It's monocle. Wait, I just said it again. It's monocle, not monocule. It's monocle. Compared to deceiving Amon, deceiving a rule is much easier. After all, unearthed, this world is a madness and chaos. This sentence made Leonard speechless for a moment. On one hand, he wasn't experienced enough. He didn't know the orders and the laws that could be deceived. And on the other hand, he had never expected that in old man's heart, Amon was even more terrifying than the laws of nature and the order of the world. After nearly 10 seconds, he spoke again. With this method, how high is the possibility of success? It's very, very low, but not zero, Palas said with a sneer. However, the probability of deceiving the order of the world like this with a deceit charm made from a worm of time from Amon's avatar is very, very low. Therefore, my suggestion is still to get him to make a request to the Fool for help. Don't waste any more time. When fighting Amon, the longer the delay, the more dangerous it will be. The longer the delay, the more dangerous it will be. Leonard pondered for a moment before nodding in agreement. I understand. I'll also advise him to do so. Of course, he wouldn't forget mentioning the highly improbable method that old man has suggested. It's good that you understand. Seriously disturbing an old man's reading as Palas mumbled. His voice gradually lowered and disappeared from Leonard's mind. And 7 Pints Street of the newspaper that was placed on the coffee table suddenly flew up and automatically spread open over the sofa. Just like in a trailer. Where all the shit is moving on its own. Using a deceit charm to deceive the requirement that I can only resurrect where my original body is. Above the great fog of the ancient palace, Klein reconstructed Palazros' suggestion in his own words. As soon as he finished speaking, he recalled the animal hide lantern that kept burning. He did change the law. Amon had deceived the law of nature, allowing the candle to remain in a magical state and continue burning for a week without needing any fuel. His eyes lit up as he whispered, this line of thought is something only an angel from the Marauder Pathway can think of immediately. It might not be impossible. Like Palas, he did feel like, compared to dealing with Amon, it's much easier to deal with the laws of nature. After seeing Hope, he immediately analyzed the possible outcome. Although I've already used the deceit bullet, I can summon it from the historical void. Okay? After all, before the effects end, I'll definitely reform my body and successfully resurrect. The laws of nature are truly pitiful. Not only will they be deceived, can Amon deceive lengths of things? Just asking for a friend? What things? Like paper? Like big paper, short paper? I can summon it from the historical void. After all, the effects of it, I'll definitely reform my body and successfully resurrect. The laws of nature are truly pitiful. Not only will they be deceived, even the item used to deceive it is fake. The only problem is that the bullet might not be able to deceive the mysticism law. It was already a little difficult to deal with Conus Killer back then. Amidst his thoughts, he slowly surveyed the area and gradually gained inspiration. This was to use Sephira Castle. After gaining initial control of Sephira Castle, he could already mobilize the powers of a SEQ.2 angel here. And many things he had come up with in contact with previously had explained that the authority of Sephira Castle had a high probability of spanning over 3 pathways of Seer, Apprentice, and Marauder. It could generate a convergence effect and corresponding Beyonders, and it has clearly attracted the attention of Amon. True. That was to say, clients suspect that Sephira Castle had the powers of these 3 pathways at the same time. So it's not on the current owner. Clients suspect that Sephira Castle has the power of these 3 pathways at the same time. However, as a seer, most of the powers he could stir was connected to this domain. Yeah, so I assume it's only on the wearer or on the user. Like if it's a seer, it's only seer abilities. But it had powers of 3 pathways at the same time. However, as a seer, most of the power he could stir was concentrated in this domain. With the help of the medium known as the Deceit Bullet, I might be able to stir the other powers of Sephira Castle. Since I'm already capable of using some miracles in the seer domain, having power for the Marauder pathway at the angel level is a highly reasonable deduction. The only problem is that there must be a medium of a sufficient level. This way, I don't have to worry about not being able to deceive that rule. As his thoughts brightened up, he seriously began to formulate a plan. He used the mysticism law as his target and attempted to formulate a scam. In order to what? In order to reduce the difficulty, it's best to not have additional preparations. I can't deceive something out of nothing, at least unless I'm Amon's true body. Yes, I'll bestow a tube of my blood to the little son. I'll create a fake respawn point that exceeds the range, and then using the Deceit Bullet as a trigger, stir the corresponding angel. Wait, so this way we don't even have to confront Amon? That's a little underwhelming. I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like Amon's going to figure it out. And then using the Deceit Bullet as a trigger, stir the corresponding angel level powers contained within Sephira Castle, misdirecting that the rule and making it view the fake respawn point as the real one, while the real one becomes the fake one. Okay, that makes sense when we're messing around with the laws. Okay. He outlined the details bit by bit, and when his thoughts finally took form, Klein immediately used the mysticism connection between himself and the spot he died to observe the actual situation with his true vision. He saw the grayish yellow fog that had thinned a lot, and the deep ravine that hid Chernobyl was no different from before. What the fuck? It was unknown where Amon, who was wearing a pointed hat and a monocle, had stolen a rock from a rock. It was unknown where Amon, who was wearing a pointed hat and a monocle, had stolen a rock from and had placed it on the spot where Klein had passed away. He sat on it and patiently played with a human skin glove. Creeping hunger? He occasionally bent the human skin glove fingers and stretched it out at times as if he could pass 100 years doing so. About a kilometer away in a certain spot in the grayish yellow fog, 3 Amons in black classical magic robes crouched around a rock as they seriously played poker cards that they had stolen from somewhere. From time to time, they would nudge their monocle. Dude, man. Definitely makes perfect sense. And the world where shit don't make sense, it makes sense that what I mean is it makes sense that it doesn't make sense. Get it? See, it makes sense. Imagine how scared Creeping Hunger must be feeling. Dude, when Klein saves Creeping Hunger, I think Creeping Hunger is going to be the most loyal item he will ever carry. Like, never again will he disobey Klein. When he saves Creeping Hunger, never again will he disobey. Alright, from time to time, they would nudge their monocle. Elsewhere in the extensive moor, Amon would either be alone or in groups, strolling leisurely, writing in thought, or discussing all sorts of questions with one another. Wow, I'm yawning. The dark and dangerous forsaken lands of gods. It was such a harmonious scene. It would have been better if the young men weren't all the same, wearing classical black robes, pointed hats, and monocles, with similar black hair, black eyes, broad foreheads, and thin face. Just as Klein was about to make a further observation, the Amon sitting on the rock suddenly raised his head. He nudged his crystal monocle and looked at him. He senses him. Across the moor, all the monocules looked up to the highest point of the fog of history. Klein immediately retracted his gaze and... Oh, shit, they sense him, dude. What the fuck? Klein immediately retracted his gaze and cut off the connection. So, like, all of them just started looking up above and looked at Klein. Klein immediately retracted his gaze and cut off the connection. In the city of Silver... How the fuck does he sense that, man? In the city of Silver, Derek Berg arrived at the top of the spire and met Chief Colin Iliad. Your Excellency, I've already received the promise of blessings, Derek said frankly and directly. With white hair and an old scar on his face, Colin Iliad was visibly relieved. He slowly nodded and said, that's good, that's good. He had repeated the sentence in a rare instance. As an excellent demon hunter and the city of Silver's chief, he had already been patient, never taking unnecessary risks. Therefore, with a sudden lack of response from the fool, he didn't immediately turn to the true creator, and he decided to wait patiently for another month. For the city of Silver, which had been waiting in the dark ages for more than 2,000 years, a month was something that could be accepted. All right. Without waiting for Derek to reply, Demon Hunter, is this... No, it's not the last chapter. We'll keep reading. I'll make coffee after this, but we'll keep reading. Waiting for Derek to reply, Demon Hunter Colin left the window and calmly said, head back first. I'm going to start preparing for the advancement ritual. Derek glanced at the chief and said sincerely, you'll definitely succeed. He didn't say any longer. He immediately left the spire and returned home. After setting up the ritual again and placing the 6 powerful corpses that had hunted to the correct position, Colin Iliad began to concoct the potion. He's making it. After all this was done, the city of Silver closed his eyes and lowered his head, chanting in Jotun, the fool that doesn't belong to this era, the mysterious ruler above the great fog, the king of yellow and black who wields good luck. Above the great fog, Klein saw ripples of light emanate as he heard a slightly illusionary prayer. He merely summoned a paper figurine and combined the powers of Fairy Castle with it. He threw it into the prayer circle and conveniently marked the city of Silver's chief. At the same time, with the help of this prayer circle, he observed the situation of the entire spire at the city of Silver. He confirmed that there was no sign of Amon's parasitic existence near the chief or little son. Okay, so we're clear. I have to seize this opportunity. Klein immediately conjured the world Gerben Sparrow and made him pose as he prayed. At this moment, Colin Iliad saw the light. In the holy light, a holy angel with 12 pairs of illusory wings suddenly descended. As clean white feathers fluttered down, the demon hunter was embraced by these wings of light. This was a blessing from Mr. Fold. Dude, Colin is going crazy seeing the angel right now. He's like, what the fuck, man? Holy shit, 12 wings? Get out of here, dude. Are you guys ready? Whoa, wait, before I forget, we forgot to change scenes. I spilled coffee on my shirt and I gotta change it, and I forget all this stuff now. He will then wear a black shirt and bitch about things. 008. He will spill coffee on his shirt as he is clumsy and getting old. This follows the logic of being old. He shall keep saying he will catch up. Unfortunately, he could never do it. And can you accept such an... I refuse to accept. Anyways, chapter 1176 is called Plot. I should have made fucking coffee. Son of a bitch. I'm already awake. In the face of an angel's embrace, Colin Iliad... Let me turn on the air, man. In the face of an angel's embrace, Colin Iliad wasn't astonished, really. He accepted everything with a calm expression as though he was already prepared. He shall never message while still giggling. He shall read this. He accepted everything with a calm expression as though he was already prepared. The ritual began. He took a step forward and picked up a silver knight potion. I didn't finish reading it, so who knows? Maybe that didn't actually happen, Bilosh. He accepted everything with a calm expression as though he was already prepared. The ritual began. He took a step forward, picked up the silver knight potion, and poured it into his mouth. Without a sound, this demon hunter's body swelled up, turning into a grayish-blue giant with bluish-black veins covering him. He stood several meters tall with black cracks on his forehead. Every inch of this giant contained this indescribable power of mystery and terror. Apart from his head, which was still retained by the appearance of a human, the rest of his body was akin to a mythical creature that exerted a strange mental influence. In the next second, the skull underlying Colin Iliad's head seemed to soften as it sank inwards. With the black crack as its core, his head slowly squirmed as though he was forming a nebulous vortex. Such a pain made the City of Silver's chief, who had killed many powerful creatures, unable to restrain himself. He let out a series of howling cries that could make the minds of ordinary creatures split apart. What the fuck? I mean, we've seen this form before, but still, I forget how creepy it is. If it wasn't for the fact that Colin Iliad had already evacuated the members of the Spire in advance, leaving behind only a demigod-level Wait Shermont to watch over him and prevent any actions from happening, many Beyonders would definitely lose. Many Beyonders would have definitely lost control. The remains of the 6 powerful living creatures that were situated in different spots floated up under the invisible power of the ritual, circling the mutated Colin Iliad, using some sort of mysterious connection to awaken in some of the memories of this peerless demon hunter. It was experience of hunting demons. It was him painfully ending the former chief's attack with his own hands. It was his life of defeat. I cannot read. It was his life of defeating powerful monsters again and again. These manifestations appeared like paintings on an altar. Sometimes they would be integrated into Colin Iliad, and sometimes they would be extracted from him, helping him defeat himself. He maintained a certain level of clarity during this extreme pain of changing. Only at this moment where the Colin Iliad finally understand the essence of the ritual. As a sequence for Demon Hunter, the hunting of every powerful creature was a battle of intense mental catharsis. It left a deep impression on his life. With these powerful mental imprints, he was unable to locate himself after consuming the potion and not be lost in pain and madness. This made Colin Iliad recall a term recorded in some of the books in City of Silver, Anchor. As a sequence 3, he was considered a deity in a certain sense. Shit. He could respond to the prayers with a certain range, so as the anchor was required. As this wasn't the level of an angel, an anchor didn't necessarily need to be a believer. It could be replaced by other things, such as the clear marks in one's life that had meanings in mysticism. Yeah, it's definitely an anchor. In the memories that had been awakened, Colin Iliad slowly regained his self-awareness. He felt his body again and again grasp his changing. Right on the heels of that, a layer of wing formed the illusionary light extended out behind him. They fused with the surrounding paintings as they constantly shrank. Get it? Paintings, and we're hearing Expedition 33 music. In the memories that had been awakened, Colin Iliad slowly regained his self-awareness. He felt his body again as he grasped its changing life. Did I skip something? Right on the heels of that, a layer... Okay, we reconnected, thank God. Right on the heels of that, a layer of wings formed from the illusionary light extended out of his body. They fused with the surrounding paintings as they constantly shrank inwards. The surface of Colin Iliad's body collapsed into a silver armor as it was firm and beautiful, but it didn't possess any weight. Yeah, we're back. After the Demon Hunter advanced to the Silver Knight, due to the differences in the deity's blessings, they would be minute differences between Silver Knights. Previously, the leader of the King's Court's Chasers, Light Color Merksing... How do you pronounce his name again? The Kings of Court Chaser, Light Color Merksingen, had received blessings from the Giant King. Therefore, the various aspects of the Silver Knight domain were much stronger. On the other hand, Colin Iliad could occasionally make his body condense a silver rapier that could teleport. The weapon teleports. While in combat, it would appear at random during an attack with beneficial tendencies, bringing about unpredictable changes. In addition, he could also obtain a certain uniqueness when using mercury liquefaction. As his silver armor finally took form, Colin Iliad had completed his advancement. Holy shit. Apart from not having a single vertical eye on his head, he was equivalent to a mythical creature. At this moment, he raised his right hand and waved it to the side. At a small hillside outside of the City of Silver, a silver beam erupted out of thin air. It tore apart everything around it, splitting the small hill into 2 halves. Damn, this hype. During Colin Iliad's advancement to Silver Knight, Derek Burr completed the bestowment ritual and obtained a small metal tube. Seizing the opportunity, the City of Silver's chief, creating abnormalities and drawing away most of the attention, Klein suddenly reached out while in the ancient palace above the great fog. He had summoned a bullet and the death knell from the historical void. Okay. Right on the heels of that, he did a divination in advance, confirming that there weren't any signs of AMON parasites around Little Sun. Without any hesitation, he opened a revolver cylinder and stuffed in the seed bullet into it. Pa. With a shank on his right hand, he closed the cylinder and used the mysticism connection to aim at the spot where he had died. Bang. He calmly pulled the trigger and fired the one bullet. At the same time, taking advantage of the Beyonder effects, he wills Sephira Castle powers into mobilization. Wait, we're doing it already. The gray fog bowled once again, including the space around them. A majestic but slightly dark energy surged out like a tidal wave, wrapping around the bullet, passing through the gap, shouting towards the real world. The light in the Sephira Castle suddenly dimmed, suppressing the fear and horror. Klein used I feel like I should change the music. I need to change the music. Yeah, conclusion is fitting. Let's play this. Klein used Death Knell's historical projection to stimulate the feeling of a sudden descent. Klein used Death Knell's historical projection, like the bullet being shot, to stimulate the feeling of a sudden descent. He leaped towards the crimson star representing the sun and leaped towards a tiny tube of his blood. On the barren moors of Chernobyl, all of the Amons wearing pointed hats raised their heads and looked at the lightning that streaked across the sky. They looked at a deep and quiet swath that even the lightning could illuminate. The Amons nudged their monocles, and after a moment of silence, they laughed. He doesn't seem like someone who can come up with such a conclusion, Palas. He joined this organization codenamed the Terra Club. Oh, shit. In the Berg household in the city of Silver, the darkness in front of Derek suddenly turned dark. I need to lower the volume. It is so loud on my end. Give me a sec. Okay, we're good. In the Berg household in the city of Silver, the darkness in front of Derek suddenly turned dark, as if the candles in the room had been burned to ashes. To the residents of the city of Silver, this wasn't a good thing. Derek's eyes immediately lit up with the light of the sun. At that moment, bits of light burst out from the deep darkness like transparent squirming worms. The metal tube that Derek had received shattered automatically as fresh red blood floated out from it and suspended itself in midair. It didn't spread apart, but instead merged with the fragments of light. In just 2 or 3 seconds, these light fragments condensed into one, forming a huge ball of light. The spherical light ball stretched out and changed quickly, forming a figure. The figure had a deep outline and a cold expression. He wore a silver top hat and a black coat while holding a black revolver. It was none other than German Sparrow. Having successfully deceived the laws of mysticism, he fucking did it. Klein used the help of his old blood to complete his resurrection. Without needing any introduction, Derek had finally recognized the visitor. Oh shit, wait, this is their first time meeting each other. Oh shit. Wait, this is his first time meeting him. Without needing any, oh my god, we're actually face to face with Derek. Without needing, oh dude, this is so hype. Without needing any introduction, Derek had already recognized the visitor through his special temperament. After being stunned for a moment, he instinctively revealed an uncontrollable smile. Mr. World. Oh dude, I got the biggest smile too right now. They're actually meeting. Klein raised his head slightly and looked at the little son, who seemed to have grown taller. He successfully reached out and pressed down on his top hat. He then nodded gently and said, I will be in the Forsaken Lands of Gods during this period of time. However, I have to leave now. I can't let AMON into the city of Silver. If there's a chance in the future, I will cooperate with you. Having understood what Mr. World meant, Derek nodded heavily and said, all right. Just as Klein raised his right hand and was about to snap his fingers to leave with flaming jump, Derek looked at him and suddenly pointed at the storage cabinet in the room. Mr. World, do you need to bring some food with you? There are mushrooms that can produce milk. Klein controlled himself, not letting the corners of his mouth twitch. He maintained his cold attitude and said, I don't drink milk. Dude, they definitely need to cook something together. They definitely need to team up, bro, in this volume. As soon as he finished speaking, he snapped his fingers, causing a scarlet flame to fly out of his pocket, wrapped around him like water. The fire quickly dissipated like falling stars, and Klein's figure disappeared from Derek Briggs' room. Outside the city of Silver, in a deformed forest, flames flashed, constantly extending all the way to the moors leading to the north. After he truly left the city of Silver, did Klein slow down his footsteps and summon a lantern from the historical void? He had long expected that the revival process would go so smoothly. After all, once he found the correct solution, there's no way that AMON could stop him. In the city of Silver, AMON only had a few avatars at the sequence 4 or 3 level, so Klein could use his true vision to locate them and eliminate them ahead of time. Okay, so the weak ones were good. As if they could form an avatar to the sequence 2 level, Klein, who had gained initial control of Sephira Castle, could stir the powers of the power of an angel, allowing him to easily fight off such an avatar while being above the Great Fog, and would stay undefeatable since he couldn't be attacked. He had the confidence to defeat his opponent. If AMON moved his true body to City Silver, then Klein could choose to revive at the original spot. So if he moves, he goes back to the original spot. Of course, AMON could create an avatar that was almost at sequence 1 and send him to the City of Silver. However, under the premise of the conservation of the Bionic characteristics. I'm lower the volume. How many avatars could he create? Not more than 2. As for Klein, he could split his remaining blood into multiple portions. He could use the bestowment ritual to send them to Mr. Hangman, Mam Hermit, and the Star Leonard. There were too many spots where he could revive, so there was no way that Amon could guard all of them. This was an above-board plan based on his own level beyond her powers and the special ability of Sephira Castle. Before he attempted to revive himself, Klein was already quite certain of the outcome. The only thing he was worried about was that deceit would be detected by Amon ahead of time, allowing him to interfere in a timely manner. Yeah, so now what's he going to do? Causing him to respawn locations to change. Fortunately, his divination had confirmed that the level of danger wasn't high. This was one of the reasons why he dared to try. Phew, I really escaped from Amon. I don't know, man. As he advanced amidst the dim yellow light, Klein felt the presence of his body and heaved a sigh of relief. Of course, he knew very well that he was going to encounter the relentless pursuit of Amon's main body and various avatars. Oh, shit. So now it really is a goose chase until we get out of the City of Silver. Or literally the Forsaken Lands. Oh, shit. All right, next chapter. 1175 is called Substitute. All right. All right. Let's keep reading, dude. Good reminder, Unknown. Yeah, Light Seeker, man. I feel like this chapter title is so... I mean, the volume title is so fitting. Light Seeker. Or it's like, I guess we're trying to find the light in the City of Silver. Or Klein is a Light Seeker trying to find his way out. Or maybe Amon is like a Light Seeker trying to get to Sephira Castle. Point is, I feel like there's a lot of interpretations for Light Seeker. But we will know the true interpretation at the end of this volume. Chapter 1175 is called Substitute. On the desolate moors filled with deep ravines, Amon stood in different spots. They opened their mouths and chanted in Jotun, the blessed of the Sparrow World and Sephira Castle. The mystery stemming from ancient times, the witness of an extended history, protector of backland magic and drama performers, the great German Sparrow. I'm sorry, he's doing his honorific. These voices were layered as they bored into the void, as though they extended to an infinite distance. 10 seconds later, all of them adjusted their crystal monicos in different manners and chuckled softly. He changed it really quickly. If German Sparrow was still automatically responding... Oh, he changed okay, he changed his honorific name? Who is the Light Seeker? Maybe Adam. Maybe Sasrir when we wake him up? If German Sparrow, Lightseeker Sasrir, if he's the evil manifestation of ASG, hold up. All of you guys are the beautiful Lightseekers, by the way. At the end of the day, we are the Lightseekers because we are reading this beautiful, glorious, lightful series, and we are seeking the light in the series. If German Sparrow was still automatically responding to this honorific name, they could use this opportunity to determine the other party's location and create an error to appear. He can do that? If German Sparrow was still automatically responding to this honorific name, they could use this opportunity to determine the other party's location and create an error to appear directly beside their target. In the darkness that was illuminated by the light from time to time, the hatted and coated Klein proceeded north at a moderate pace while holding a lantern. There is a prayer. Amon is using German Sparrow's honorific name. This means that a number of Amons aren't too far away from me, but the City of Silver doesn't have his parasites. They're in the surrounding patrol teams or in some unexpected creatures. As he walked, Klein suddenly turned his head and listened carefully for a few seconds. Regarding this matter, he was rather glad that he was cautious enough. He had changed the honorific name. Fucking good thing he did. He had changed the honorific name that allowed default acknowledgement while above the Grey Fog. It went from the protector of backland magic and drama performers to the protector of all poor children in backland. This came for the lone charity Bursey Foundation he had set up. Yes, Amon is a cryptologist. It's very likely that he can interpret this honorific name from all the information regarding Dwayne Dantes. No, I don't even need an automatic response. As Klein looked at the faint yellow light emitted by the lantern, he quickly made a decision. He made every worm of spirit only capable of listening to prayers without having the ability to autonomously respond unless they had been given permission from the main body. Oh, that's good. This was frequent prayers would severely affect his daily life, but it wasn't a big problem. This was because other than Amon's vile harassment, no one else would pray to German Sparrow since he hadn't spread the word about his honorific name. After studying this matter, Klein thought of all the Amon's terrifying aspects. He suddenly had some doubts about what to do next. His original plan was to stay far away from the City of Silver and head to Noise Ruins in the north to investigate the situation there. He wanted to see if he could obtain the main ingredients needed for Miracle Invoker Potion. Oh shit, he did say there was something that he sends north, right? However, after connecting that ancient city ruins with Amon, a problem was revealed, okay? Klein could already confirm that the upper levels of the neighboring pathways also follow the laws of beyond characteristic convergence. Since Amon had been wandering around the Forsaken Lands of Gods for more than 1,000 years and had come near the City of Silver, how could he not be attracted to the noise ruins in the north? No, it's probably a trap. For the chief of the City of Silver not to dare to enter, it means the power of Noise City has definitely reached the level of an angel. Amon wouldn't ignore it. He probably doesn't dare to directly eat such a high level beyond a characteristic of a neighboring pathway. But that doesn't prevent him from setting up a trap, true? Even if he hadn't done so in the past, he would definitely be rushing over there now. Of course, I can't exclude the possibility that Amon has yet to discover it, because during the City of Silver Chief's first visit, the Noise Ruins weren't as dangerous. Perhaps the power as an angel level came to Noise Ruins later. He has been constantly migrating his believers to avoid Amon. Amidst his thoughts, Klein felt a little afraid about heading northwest for the ancient city. He decided to first see if there were any other ways to obtain the main ingredients of a Miracle Invoker potion before considering if he should head to the periphery of the Noise Ruins to observe and gather some intel. With this in mind, he walked towards the wreckage of a tall tower in his black coat and half-top hat, guided by the occasional lightning. Along the way in the dangerous darkness outside the dim yellow light, monsters lined up and slightly followed him. They were already his marionettes. Damn. Compared to them, the Saints of the Seer Pathway were even more bizarre and terrifying. As he walked, one of the monsters that looked like a fish with limbs suddenly chanted in Jotun, "The sun that is eternal. You are an extinguishable light. You are the embodiment of odor." Did I say odor? Order. The moment it finished reciting the three-lined honorific name, the monster collapsed to the ground and lost its life. The honorific name of deities often wasn't limited to 3 lines, but when chanting, one could choose any 3. For example, the Eternal Blazing Sun's complete honorific name was Eternal Blazing Sun, Inextinguishable Light, Embodiment of Order, God of Contracts, Guardian of Businesses, and just now Klein had used the first 3 lines. With this method, he prayed to the Lord of Storms, the God of Knowledge and Wisdom, and the Evernight Goddess, hoping to receive a certain response. Embodiment of Odor? Order, my bad. However, there were no change in his surroundings. 15 minutes later, easy, you're getting burnt by the sun soon. I know, man. I feel it. It's coming, man. I'm definitely going to be getting that light seeking soon. It's useless to pray to a SEQ.2 true deity in the Forsaken Lands of Gods, unless the target is a true creator or an existence that wields things like Sephira Castle or the Chaos Sea. That's not right. In the Afternoon Town, the clergyman had the goddess's true name concealed when saying it. When he mentioned the 4 kings of angels, he suffered immolation. I don't remember this. When he mentioned the 4 kings of angels, he suffered immolation due to the involvement of deities. Perhaps it's because there's still all kinds of divine powers in the Forsaken Lands of Gods. Not only concealment and degeneration and the true names of the different deities each have special meanings in mysticism, allowing it to stir the corresponding powers. This way, it would explain why the City of Silver has been teaching the true names of Badhill and Hera Bergen. But they didn't end up establishing any connection with the God of Combat or the God of Knowledge and Wisdom. The prayers in the Forsaken Lands of Gods are not heard by the true deities, or even if they can hear them, they are unable to respond. So it's not that they don't want to, they're just unable. This also means that there are no remnant powers of the gods of combat or the god of knowledge, otherwise there would have been certain anomalies. Yes, it's also possible that it's not because there are no anomalies, but that the 2 grade 0 sealed artifacts, the god level sealed artifacts in the City of Silver have eliminated them. In that case, if I were to directly chant the true name of the goddess, would I cause the surrounding darkness and the concealment to stir? If this kind of power can be controlled, I'll have an additional effective trump card when being tracked by Amon. The probability isn't very high. Directly chanting the true name of a deity is an act of blasphemy, and it will result in the corresponding backlash, just like the Afternoon Town's clergyman. Based on this logic and phenomenon he had seen, Klein came up with a theory on the present situation. Oh, please tell me your theory, because I can't even figure this out. He was eager to try reading out all the true names of the deities he knew one by one and checking their effects. Finally, he restrained himself and didn't blinkly make the attempt. Why? I'd better go above the Great Fog to do a divination first, otherwise who knows if there will be an unbearable accident. Divination involves deities. Divinations involving deities might not give a clear revelation. After muttering inwardly for a while, Klein scoffed at his impulsiveness. So he had a lot of intrusive thoughts right there. Good thing he held back. My previous plan was akin to, I haven't been courting death for 2 days. I shall do it seriously today. So that's basically what he was saying. Like, let me actually try and unalive myself. At this moment, he had already arrived at the collapsed tower. He sat beside a wall that had only been cut down by a half. He reached out to take out a paper crane from the historical void, and he ignited it. He wanted to see if he could contact the Snake of Filth Will Ossitan series. If there was a medium, he wanted to know where he could obtain the main ingredients of a miracle invoker potion. Under the illumination of the third summoning of the lantern, Klein fell into a deep sleep, but he didn't dream of anything. Indeed, it doesn't work. After he woke up, Klein shook his head and let his body enter a historical void. Following that, he took 4 steps counterclockwise and arrived above. I thought he doesn't have to do that anymore. I'm sorry. I thought he doesn't have to do the 4 steps anymore. I thought he can just do it. Following that, he took 4 steps counterclockwise and arrived above the Great Fog. Sitting on the seat belonging to the fool, he beckoned for a small paper box from the junk pile. Inside it was a stack of paper cranes. These were personally folded by a certain baby. At the same time, how the fuck does the baby Will fold these paper cranes? Only if all the members have prayed to him? Oh, so like what happened earlier? What happened last stream? So like only if they... Oh shit. So only if they were all to do that again, like all that accumulated strength would allow him to do that. Okay. Because that's how he was able to just like auto do it. Okay. These were personally folded by a certain baby. At the same time, the world Grimace was conjured. He prayed to Mr. Fool in a grayish-white region and requested him to forward his request to Miss Justice, saying that this act could allow her to make contributions to her exchange for the manipulator potion formula. Of course, I cannot read, man. Klein had already revealed that the potion needed to be consumed while amidst a huge emotional resonance. Backland Emperor's Borough inside the Hall family's luxurious mansion, Audrey had to return to her bedroom once again and set up a bestowment ritual to obtain the paper crane. Child labor is a useful thing in the world of Lord of the Mysteries. Don't forget to say that at the end. In the world of the Lord of Mysteries, yes. She picked up a thin pencil and wrote on the paper crane surface, Dwayne Dantes had requested you to meet with me. After finishing her preparations, Audrey followed Mr. World's instructions and placed the paper crane under her pillow before lying down to sleep. Soon she saw a pitch-black, desolate plain. As a dreamwalker who had given herself hints in advance, she maintained her consciousness and walked towards the black steeple in the middle of the plains with strong curiosity. As soon as she arrived at her destination, Audrey's spiritual perception was triggered. She raised her head and looked at the top of the steeple. At some point in time, there was a giant silver snake coiled there. This gigantic snake didn't have any scales. Its body was covered with symbols and patterns that formed wheels that were connected to each other with different labels. At that moment, the gigantic snake was staring at Audrey with its bright red and colored eyes. It said in a low voice, "What does Dwayne Dantes want?" This is the angel of the fate pathway that gives Ma'am Herbert a drop of blood. Audrey controlled her thoughts. She's like, holy shit, dude. Audrey controlled her thoughts and calmly looked at the gigantic snake. She said in honesty, he wanted me to ask you where he can obtain the main ingredients of a miracle invoker potion. The gigantic silver snake suddenly fell silent for a few seconds before saying, the number of a sequence 2's in different pathways, different numbers. Under the situation of the quota of the attendant of mysteries being filled, there can only be a Under the situation of the quota of the attendant of mysteries being filled, there can only be a total of 6 miracle invokers. A miracle invoker is the name of a sequence 2 potion. Mr. World is going to become an angel, or is he making preparations for his partner? No, if it's a companion, he could get them to ask them himself. Audrey was first alarmed before she began looking forward to the mysterious serpent's answer. Like, literally, a Tarot Club meeting ago, she's like, whoa, sequence 3? And now she's like, what? Sequence 2? Damn. I have a blessed. All right, man. Next chapter, dudes. Chapter 1178 is called I Have a Blessed. The gigantic silver snake looked down at Audrey and opened its blood-red mouth. The sequence 1 potion that Zaratul, the leader of the secret order, consumed came from the attendant of mysteries. In other words, he possesses an extra miracle invoker characteristic, so we have to get one. Similarly, it was the same for the ancestor of the Antigonus family back then. Of course, if they were interested, are we talking about Antigonus, like the Antigonus, the half-fool? Similarly, it was the same for the ancestor of the Antigonus family back then. Of course, if they were interested in something, or if they had a candidate who had won the favor of the family to the point of them being willing to nurture them, then an angel with sufficiently high status can separate the extra... They can separate the extra... This was revealed earlier. I think Zaratul revealed this back then in Fogtown, right? Foggy Town? You can separate the extra miracle invoker beyond a characteristic to the other party. The third miracle invoker's beyond a characteristic had combined with a characteristic of mysterious origins. Oh shit. It has become sealed artifact 005, also known as the magic wishing lamp. That's the one Bernadette has, right? Bernadette had 005. Magic Wishing Lamp. Sorry, I burped. A true deity once attempted to destroy this item to separate the characteristics and allow them to converge automatically, but eventually failed. The 4th and 5th Miracle Invoker beyond characteristics are in the form of a grade 0 sealed artifact that exists in the churches of the Eternal Blazing Sun and the Lords of Storms. One of them is named 013. It comes from the 3rd Epoch's creator, designated as the Last Banquet. The world building, dude. The other is codenamed 032, a product of the War of the Four Emperors, designated as theater within curtains that never draw. That's a long-ass title for a sealed artifact. Theater within curtains that never draw. The 6th Miracle Invoker beyond characteristics might be in the Forsaken Lands. That's the one Klein needs. Might be in the Forsaken Lands of the Gods. During the 3rd Epoch, there was a remnant of the Dark Demonic Wolf who occasionally appeared. After the Cataclysm, he vanished without a trace. That's a lost cause. Audrey listened attentively and thought carefully for a moment before saying, "You're saying that under the situation where the Attendant of Mystery spots are filled, there are only 6 Miracle Invokers, and now you only mentioned the Secret Order leader Zartul and the ancestor of the Antigonus family, but the spots don't seem to be filled. In such a situation, there might be an extra miracle... In such a situation, there might be an extra Miracle Invoker beyond her characteristic. This wasn't information that the World Gurman Sparrow had informed her of in advance. Instead, it was a question that Audrey had come up with on her own, on her own accord from the details of the answer of her knowledge and of mysticism. The eyes of the giant silver snake moved slightly. Indeed, there should be 3 Attendant of Mysteries. That is so hype. There should be 3 Attendant of Mysteries, but in the 2nd Epoch, in the era where the ancient god Flagera still lived, the 3rd set of the Attendant of Mysteries beyond her characteristics seemed to have disappeared without a trace. Why? No one knows where it is. Likewise, for the corresponding Miracle Invoker beyond her characteristics, perhaps it has already combined together and has found a sufficiently concealed method to hide itself. Audrey nodded gently and said, "I understand. I'll pass on the information to Mr. Dwayne Dantes. Oh, he even asked me to ask you if there's anything you need his help with." The giant silver snake slithered up and a third of its body stood up. "No. A small matter. Yes, I have a blessed who is an outstanding gourmet. He has a desire to taste ice cream from the various noble families so as to determine the most delicious one." That's a nice way of saying it. This request, Mr. Snake, maybe it's Ma'am Snake. It's really nice to her bless. Ice cream? Alger is more qualified to be an attendant of the mysteries by the way he glazes the fool. I feel like he fits the quota. This request, Mr. Snake, maybe it's Ma'am Snake, is really nice to her blessed. His tone is as if he can't wait to This is too simple. I can't agree to help Mr. World's behalf and complete it on my own. I'll just treat it as accumulating the sufficient contributions needed to exchange to the potion formula. Audrey said thoughtfully, "No problem, but how do I send him the ice cream?" But how do I give him ice cream? The giant snake slowly called and said, "Sacrifice it to him. He's already a Secret 3 saint and can accept sacrifices in the same city. His honorific name is the embodiment of luck, the clairvoyant monster, the calamity that spreads misfortune, the witnesses of all fates and backland, the keeper of chaos and madness." There's a difference between this honorific name and a normal Secret 3. There's no name at the end. Audrey's eyes darted around slightly, but she didn't say anything further and nodded in agreement. Lord of the Ice Cream? Definitely Lord of the Ice Creams. That should be the spinoff, man. Keeper of Chaos and Madness. Will's last honorific name is quite interesting. This shouldn't be the honorific name of the Snake of Fate, but something that he used when he was at Sequence 3. Some tweaks were made later on. The monster's pathways watch over chaos and madness, or could it be said that in this world, even for the fate, those at the lower sequences are in chaos and madness. Monsters are working hard to resist all of this, making everything seem normal. After Klein heard Mistress's answers, he didn't find it odd for Will Austin to request ice cream. Like, oh, it's just the usual, dude. Instead, he found the honorific name of the Life School of Thought President rather interesting. Having a blessed, that's like saying, I know someone that will learn this from me. No, I have a real blessed knits. Later on, I forgot about the knits. I also saw the Milosh, I saw the artwork Milosh posted of Gurman and the knits and their maid outfits. That was a pretty cool picture. Later on, I'll have this fellow sacrifice something for me to eat. I can't really eat those mutated monsters or summon projections from the historical void, right? Yes, if I have a chance, I'll invite Little Sun to try them together. I can't let them be obsessed with Frank's mushrooms. The number of blessed servings will definitely won't be less than 9. Damn! There might even be more. He has a huge life school of thought. Klein conjured the word Grimsborough and made him reply to Miss Justice, indicating that the ice cream contributed plenty. It was indeed a peak picture, just like Swimsuit Shio. I have not seen Swimsuit Shio. Can you send that for a potential thumbnail? For research purposes? Okay, cool. At me. After completing, I actually haven't seen that one. Wait, I'm being serious. I actually haven't seen that artwork yet. After completing all this, he wrapped the edges of the long model table and seriously considered the problem with the main ingredients of the Miracle Invoker. There's no need to think about the Miracle Invoker beyond the characteristics with Zaro Tool. It's impossible for him to separate it to give it to me. He only wants to turn me into his marionette. It's not like there's zero hope with the Antigonus 2 portions, but if that's the case, I'll have to request it from the goddess again. I can't afford something equivalent. I'm afraid besides the goddess might not be able to provide it. The reason why she wants to seal the half-fool who has lost control is probably because she is unable to kill him. Once he is killed, he will be able to escape his current predicament and revive elsewhere. Just like how I escaped from AMON, under such situations, the goddesses has no way of getting Antigonus to separate a Miracle Invoker beyond a characteristic. Even if a true deity can't shatter 005, so there's no point in targeting it. It's useless even if I have to. The sealed artifact origins are truly mysterious. There's something very fishy about it. The Church of the Eternal Blazing Sun 013 is called the Last Banquet. That sounds like a badass final chapter title. The Last Banquet. You reacted to the result emoji? Was it? Oh, I did put that one. Never mind. I did watch. I didn't save it, but I did see that one. You're right. The Last Banquet. It comes from the City of Silver's creator. Why does this person always like to use the names that have dangerous implications? The Church of the Lords of Storms is 032. Is theater with curtains that never draw. Just the sound of it alone. Just the sound of it allows me to imagine what it's like. The chances of obtaining these two grade 0 artifacts are very low, but it's not impossible. It just depends on what, like, if he was able to escape on a very, very, very low possibility, he can do it. But it's not impossible. It just depends on whether the Eternal Blazing Sun and Lords of Storms are willing to support my growth so as to contain AMON. Yes, up to now, they have yet to show any kindness. I can't find a suitable way to interact with the right person. I can't possibly use divination to spy on the Eternal Blazing Sun again and communicate with him through space, right? If that happens, wouldn't it be better if he directly invades the Fair Castle and takes control of this place? If I were to nurture Mr. Hangman and wait till he has the qualifications to come into contact with grade 0 sealed artifacts, I'll most likely have become AMON. Yeah, he can't wait that long. The true creator knows a clue to the third characteristic of the Attendant of Mysteries. His divine kingdom and holy residence is in the Forsaken Lands of Gods. Okay, this fits. These two might be related somehow. The two sets of the Miracle Invoker characteristics and the Attendant of the Mysteries characteristics are highly likely to be in the Forsaken Lands of Gods. I wonder which one is in the Noise Ruins. Only one way to find out. Has Easy reacted to the Bunny Outfit Klein? I've seen Bunny Ouroboros, but I have not seen Bunny Klein. Yes, the true creator should only know a clue and not its exact location. Otherwise, he would have obtained the Attendant of Mysteries beyond her characteristics before the War of the Four Emperors and effectively increase his subordinate strength. All right, let's keep reading. I definitely lost my place as we're planning this bunny outfit video. But we're just gonna read from right here. In other words, the Attendant of Mystery beyond her characteristics is something even a true deity can obtain quickly, and it's necessary to search for it. It might not be easy for AMON to come across it, allowing him to set up a trap. If that danger within the ruins were only recently found, having just been transplanted, it would match this trait. From the looks of it, I still have to make a trip. However, I have to be careful enough. The danger comes from AMON and also from the ruins. I'll do a divination first, then I'll observe and gather the intelligence from a distance. I won't enter blindly and will be patient enough. Klein conjured a pen and paper and was about to write the corresponding divination statement when he suddenly thought of something and decided to make another confirmation. He drew a complicated symbol that was a mixture of concealment and mystery prying. He threw it into the Crimson Star, representing the magician. With Gurmispro's image and tone, he asked her the question arose. Backland East Borough Force, who was about to move houses, drew the curtains and lit a candle. She set up a mirror and found Shield. Actually, you know what? I think 79 might be our last chapter, and then we can look at all the other stuff. Easy would get distracted by bunny outfits, losing control to MTOD. Adam. She set up a mirror and found Shield to act as a bystander. She then drew the symbol that Mr. World had given her. In the room, the environment gradually turned dark as cold winds stirred, causing the two to tremble. The surface of the mirror suddenly rippled, forming the ancient dark red facing text. You have summoned the great erodes. You have to abide by the corresponding rules. Oh shit. You have to answer a question from every question. If you lie or refuse to answer, you will be punished. Oh shit. Do you love her? All right, Force, who had been warned, calmly replied. Following that, she asked curiously, where can one obtain the main ingredients of the miracle invoker potion? On the surface of the mirror, dark red wounds appeared on the one after another as the other lines vanished. The answer to the question in detail. It's basically the same as we'll answer. Above the gray fog, through the crimson star representing Miss Magician, Klein watched the specific process and nodded in disappointment. After Forrest memorized the answer, she said nervously, it's your turn to ask. I don't want to read the next line. The dark red word changed and formed a new sentence. Do you love her? Have you had an erotic dream in the past year? Forrest, fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah, I've had an erotic dream in the past year. How do you think I come up with all these bugs? It's so funny. This is definitely funny. Phew, thankfully, it's still okay. Forrest heaved a sigh of relief and said yes. This was human nature. She didn't feel like there was anything to be ashamed of. Following that, she raised a second question. Oh, shit. Is like, was it of your companion? And she was like, ah, shit. Ah. Was it of Mr. Fool? Oh, no. I can see the follow-up question being a little spicy. Do you have any suggestions on the matter regarding obtaining the main ingredients of the miracle invoker? Rose dispersed the dark red text and used silver colors to form the new words. The Abraham family still holds the apprentice pathway sequence to Planeswalker potion formula, as well as the corresponding powerful sealed artifact, a total of 2 of them. The Aurora Order also has one. This, Klein's eyes lit up as he thought of a new possibility. Is that so? Force frowned slightly and said, it's your turn to ask the question. The silver color on the face of the mirror faded away as dark red colors formed a sentence. Other than you, who else was the star of your... Who were you dreaming of? Other than you, who else was the star of your erotic dream? Oh, shit. Force gaped as her face... What the fuck, Cuttlefish? Why would he end the chapter right there? What a fucking little... Good thing I can just read the next chapter. Forrest gaped as her face flushed red. Oh, I'm excited to see this answer. If she doesn't answer, it's clearly Shio or it's clearly Shio or Fool or Gurman. That's what it is. It's either Klein or Shio. That has to be it, dude. I want a Rhodes in the Hall of Truth for a side story. Bro, just imagine that. Oh, that'd be... Do you think he'd be like, oh, my great humble master, I love you. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I feel like he'd be way too straight. I feel like he'd be a little too coming. What's the word? Like a little too forthcoming or like forward when you do the LSD react. Bet. Chapter 1179. Well, we can probably do it right now too, just in case. Maybe we'll see what happens. But let's see. Chapter 1179. Last chapter for this part of the recording is called Preparations Both Way. Imagine a Rhodes asking questions to the others in the Hall of Truth. That'd be fun. And they're like, oh, and then they have to be honest. And then he just gets more daring with his questions. At that moment, Force felt her cheeks burning as she stiffened. She didn't even dare to turn her head to look at her friend. Oh, it's Shio. She realized that she had severely underestimated the bottom line of the magic mirror. After stuttering for a moment, Force recalled Mr. World's reminder and closed her eyes. I choose to accept the punishment. Oh, it's definitely a Terror Club member. A silvery white bolt of lightning fell from the air in the room, but the moment it appeared, the lightning vanished without a trace, like it was a hallucination. Oh, I didn't zap her? The dark red words on the surface of the mirror were dyed silver as they were quickly replaced with new context. The question and answer game will end here today. Goodbye. Ah, come on. Without waiting for Force to open her eyes before Shio could react, the rippling light in the mirror instantly calmed down. The gloom and darkness in the room shattered as they were swallowed by the light. The gloom and darkness in the room shattered as they were swallowed by the light of the candle. Wasn't there supposed to be a punishment? Forge waited for a few seconds before opening her eyes slightly. She looked at the mirror and had returned to normal, and then Shio, who was watching by the sidelines, Shio pointed at the top of her head and said, there was lightning that smote at you, but it dissipated halfway. Also, the magic mirror has already left. Oh. The magic mirror was only joking. That's not right. The warning I received was the question would be rather embarrassing, and the punishments would be rather heavy. Could it be that Mr. Fool protected me? Forge rubbed. Ooh, it was Ford. She definitely dreamed of Klein. The fact that he's like, oh, did Mr. Fool protect me? Or like, Do people not want to know that I was dreaming of him? Come on. That's a little on the nose. Could it be that Mr. Fool protected me? Forrest rubbed her right cheek as she made a guess. Perhaps Shio nodded in agreement with her friend. Just as Forrest heaved a sigh of relief and rejoiced, she suddenly realized that Shio was looking at her earnestly. What's the matter? Forrest's heart skipped a beat. Shio asked thoughtfully, oh, here we go. In that erotic dreams of yours, who was the main lead? Ha! Who would remember such a dream for so long? Besides, aren't dreams blurry and unclear? Forrest forced a smile. She'll tearfully acknowledge. If that's the case, why didn't you answer with that just now? I was nervous. I was too nervous. Forrest glanced at the luggage that she had finished packing and said, it's time for us to move. I miss having a fireplace. Oh, shit. Who would remember, man? Who would remember? Not me. As she spoke, she walked towards her luggage. It was only at this moment that she realized that at times the outcome was similar, whether she answered the magic mirror's questions or not. And this, the social death that was mentioned by German Sparrow, I really want to bury my head into the ground. Forrest continually took a deep breath in an attempt to calm her burning face and embarrassed heart. In the ancient palace above the great fog, Klein threw the sea god scepter back into the junk pile and scoffed at Rhodes' act. Despite knowing that I was the one who sent someone to summon it, it actually dared to raise such a question. Only when I stopped Forrest Shio forever. That's literally what it was. If it wasn't Shio, it was Klein. I stopped the punishment. Did it hurriedly change its attitude and leave in panic? It sure had fun. Definitely had fun. However, an answer has given me a new train of thought. I really need to restrict myself to the path of a miracle invoker. The second blasphemy slate is most likely from the city of... Okay, we're getting lore. The second blasphemy slate is most likely from the City of Silver Creator and is now in the hands of Adam. Although Amon and his brother are mutually staying away from each other's affairs and aren't on especially good terms, they have worked together before. I don't believe that he has never been seen the blasphemy slate. If that's the case, he is definitely aware of the Miracle Invoker ritual and can guess that I'll be bringing the City of Silver out of the Forsaken Lands of Gods. I'm sorry, the client revealed this ahead of time. I don't remember reading this. If that's the case, he is definitely aware of the Miracle Invoker's ritual and can guess that I'll be bringing the City of Silver out of the Forsaken Lands of Gods. When that happens, he wouldn't even need to put much effort into tracking me. He just needs to wait at the Giant King's court. Yes, I can't... Oh, so this is what he's bringing back? I don't ship Klein with Forrest because I ship Klein with Audrey? Is that what you ship? I don't know, man. I think I ship him with Sharon. I feel like they have... Well, I see both ways. I can see Klein with Sharon, but I can also see Klein with Audrey because all their like therapy sessions, like they've had more moments where they speak one-on-one, right? But I don't think necessarily the person that speaks with the character the most is the ship that happens. But I can see both ships happening. Yes, I can go according to the enemy's expectations, especially since this is a god of deceit and the god of mischief. Countless accidents will happen. Sharon wouldn't let... I'm not going to read that out loud. You know what? No, I can see them being intimate. Like if they fall in love, right? And then their child is like the main character of book 2. Like their son, right? Like their son is like the main character for book 2. I can see that happening. Yes, I can't go according to the enemy's expectations, especially since this is a god of deceit and the god of mischief. Countless accidents will happen. If it's because of my participation in the City of Silver's 1,000 years of hope ends up being destroyed, then it's completely contradictory to my original intentions. The problem with Planeswalker is that I might hear Mr. Door's ravings and will suffer the scrutiny and corruption from the cosmos that worse than Sequence 2 angels from the other pathways. Of course, this isn't completely unacceptable. Also, will I need to pay back the 2 resurrection chances that Sephira Castle gave me? That's still fine, since I'll definitely transfer back to being an attendant of mysteries at Sequence 1 because Mr. Door... Wait, that's still fine since I'll definitely transfer back to being an attendant of mysteries at Sequence 1 because Mr. Door has already blocked off the I don't remember this. Mr. Door has already blocked off the advancement path of the apprentice pathway. He is at least in control of the uniqueness in 2 sets of Sequence 1 beyond characteristics, perhaps even all 3. It's not necessarily for me to switch to Planeswalker, but I have to make the necessary preparations. When my options increase, even if Amon tries to stop me, the difficulty of burying a trap in advance will increase significantly. Only then can I become an angel while under the pressure of a Kings of Angels. Yes, I'll stay on the fence for now. I'll prepare the Miracle Invoker advancement while preparing for the Planeswalker. He's fucking preparing for 2 advancements. while preparing for the planeswalker advancement, all determine which pathway to take based on the actual situation when the time comes. I kind of don't want Klein to switch at this point. Like, we've been on the Seer pathway for so long, I'd be kind of sad if we switch, man. But I guess it would make sense, just like how like Roselle had to switch, right? Like maybe he has to switch. Having come to a decision, Klein felt refreshed. His mind was abnormally active, and he quickly came up with a preliminary plan. I'm not in a hurry to ask Miss Magician teachers about the Planeswalker potion formula and the corresponding grade 0 sealed artifact. This will scare the Abraham family, making them suspect that Miss Magician worships some evil god and has joined some terrible organization. With their current situation, there's a high chance that they won't reply. They will change their identities, move and sever all ties. Yes, they head to the Saints of Secrets. Bautis will make a fine agreement, regardless of whether the Abraham family gives the Worms of Cosmos. This matter will have to be placed on the agenda. I hope Miss Justice can digest the Dreamwalker potion as soon as possible. I hope that Ma'am Hermit will be prepared. I hope that the two ladies, Miss Magician and Miss Judgment, will be able to improve before the operation. Fuck, man, that Saint fight is gonna be sick. I'm surprised more people don't ship Olger and Katlia. I never thought about that. I actually never thought about that ship, but I can see it. I kind of ship Katlia with Klein, man. I kind of ship them all with Klein. Right? But okay, I didn't think about that. Right, according to what Miss Magician said, Saints of Secrets Bautis is a defector of the Abraham family, and the Aurora Order holds a grade 0 sealed artifact of the Apprentice pathway. That's interesting. Perhaps I don't need to contact the Abraham family. I might be able to get what I want from the Saints of Secrets. I have to remind Ma'am Hermit that the Bautis might be carrying a grade 0 sealed artifact, so confirmation has been made before the operation. If that grade 0 sealed artifact isn't in the hands of the Saint of Secrets, then I'll probably have to face the Angel of Fate, Ouroboros, to get it. I'm sorry. Why? Would we have to face off against Ouroboros to get it? No, grade 0 sealed artifacts are terrifying to begin with. It's one of the sources of danger. Wait, I don't actually understand easy turning into 4s. I'm thinking of all the fanfics right now in my head, dude. It's like, oh, yeah, I can see that. Phew, I'll first wait for Miss Magician's teacher to reply and see if Abraham family is adverse to any mention of the Worm of Cosmos. Worm of Cosmos. As he thought of this, Klein suddenly felt a hint of self-deprecation. I thought it was Worm of Stars. As he thought of this, Klein suddenly felt a hint of self-deprecation. He felt that he and the Aurora Order appeared to be the destined enemies. They often had all kinds of interactions. Destined enemies. When the operation begins, the Aurora Order will definitely shout in their hearts. Why is it you again? Why is it us again? Yeah. After letting out a breath, he gathered his thoughts and conjured the world Gurman Sparrow. He replied to Miss Magician, who had reported the answer. Klein X Money. I saw that. I saw then the short we posted, by the way. You guys should watch it. That was a funny little short. It was like from like one of our super early... Was there a spoiler? I didn't read it. If there's a spoiler, I didn't read it. I won't look. Fine. I won't look for a few seconds. Following that, the world prayed once, requesting... Was there a spoiler? I won't read it. It's okay. Following that, the world prayed once again, requesting Mr. Fool to forward his request to Denitz. Thank you. Good catch, Milosh. Don't worry. I didn't read it. Fine now? Okay. On a certain island, the foxy Denitz, who was waiting for the golden dream, turned his head to look at Anderson and chuckled. I'm going to summon Gurmsparrow Messenger. Anderson pricked up his brows and scoffed. You're qualified to consume the Conspirer Potion. Oh shit. You were the one who made it too obvious. Even I could sense that you were afraid of that messenger. Denitz felt even more pleased with himself as he said humbly. Anderson suddenly scoffed. Why do you not suspect that I'm pretending to be afraid? I'm not just trying to find a reasonable excuse to avoid hearing things I shouldn't be hearing. Dog shit, do you think I'll believe the lies you came up with in a hurry? Denitz was almost convinced. Anderson spread his hands and walked to the door. You've gathered all the materials to the Conspire Potion. Remember to remind Gurman to not forget my Iron-Blooded Knight's potion formula. Denitz waved his hands impatiently, indicating that he hadn't forgotten. After Anderson walked out of the room and closed the door, Denitz immediately set up a ritual and summoned the messenger holding 4 blonde red-eyed heads. Seeing the 8 eyes looking over at the same time, Denitz's chest immediately retracted. He forced a smile and handed out a gold coin. Ma'am, Gurman Sparrow wants me to tell you that he's fine. He's now in the Forsaken Lands of Gods. Wait, what did I say? The Forsaken Lands of the Gods? As a crew member of the Vice Admiral Iceberg, Denitz's knowledge of mysticism was still adequate. After a momentary pause, his pupils clearly dilated. All right. Renette Tanker bit down on the gold coin and answered immediately. Then she entered the void and vanished from the room. How is he going to make sure that everybody knows about the City of Silver? or for the Forsaken Lands. After reporting this to Germansborough, the Knights receive the Iron-Blooded Knights potion formula and new order. Like, does he just tell him when he goes back and makes an announcement? Prepare some local delicacies and sacrifice them to the sea god Kalvatua. Isn't this mission a little odd? The Knights muddled to himself, but he didn't dare raise any questions. He quickly tidied up the altar, found a parchment, and wrote down the supplementary ingredients and corresponding ritual in an Iron-Blooded Knight potion formula. Following that, he opened the door and handed the parchment to Anderson. From a team of at least 30 people, the stronger the team strength and chemistry, the better the ritual effects. Anderson unfolded the parchment in front of the Knights and read it. As he read it, his brows gradually furrowed. If the team's chemistry is to build upon the ideas of killing me, the captain ritual is rather simple. Without waiting for Nitz to mock him, a burning white flame appeared from his fingertip and burned the parchment. Anderson chuckled. I need to get back to my homeland to find an opportunity. I forget what's his homeland. The place is currently being invaded by Fana Potter, and war is always the best place for building up and training a team. Holy shit, dude. With a pause, he looked at the Nits and said with a smile, I've prepared some questions for you. They're in my room. Once you become a conspirer, you can try doing it and see if your intelligence has improved. You can see if your intelligence improved. Dog shit, are you trying to trick me into reading all the books in your room? The Nits was almost moved, but he merely understood that something was wrong. No matter how high his intelligence was, he wouldn't be able to solve the questions if he hadn't read the textbooks. Not bad, it only took you 3 seconds this time to grasp the crux of the matter. If it was in the past, you would have really believed me. Anderson praised with a smile as he turned around and left the room. I'm sorry, is Anderson being a big bro all of a sudden? I mean, he's kind of always been a big bro to the Nits. Like, they have like this bro chemistry, a little bit, right? They kind of bicker, provoke each other, you would say. I could see that. Jeez. Oh, I saw the bunny pictures. I saw the bunny outfit pictures. Damn. Oh wait, wrong scene. Damn. I'm sorry. Who is this supposed to be? Well, this is still safe for work. I think this is safe. This is safe. It's like Nikkei. I've played Nikkei. It's just a little revealing, but not that much. It's still good. It's still good. I think that's safe to show on YouTube. That's safe. They're just wearing outfits. I'm sorry. Is Klein flicking us off? More art above? Oh, there's more. Can't see my membership for this blasphemy. It's like my eyes. Hero Banded Black Emperor. Oh wait, this is the artwork you guys wanted though. Or look at this. Look at this. Hero Band. When was this? Need more Bunny Forza? Definitely need more Bunny Force. When did this happen? Was this George III? Wait, no. Black Emperor. Hero Bandit. So this is Klein? I was talking about Zomingiri art. Oh, the ones down here. Let me see. Oh, him in the cocoon. Damn, that's trippy. Wait, come on, load. Oh, look at this one. I can't even look at it. It's not loading. Oh, he had a cat. This crazy. I really hope we get like a spin-off with him, like just like at his 9 to 5. Why can't I see this artwork? It doesn't load, man. Oh, it's a gender-bent version of Klein. Ah, so this is if he was on the Demoness pathway. Got it. All right, that's good. I can't load this one of Klein. I really want to see this one. Let me see if I just open. I can't even open the link. Hold up, this link is a long-ass text. Oh my god, I can't even open it. I can't even scroll down. It's just loading. We're talking about Klein Demoness today only to get the artwork. You know what? I don't think it's a coincidence. Yeah. We were literally talking about him being a Demoness, and then look at that. We get the Demoness artwork. All right, man. That's good. Shit, man. This Renette artwork. I didn't know I needed this picture in my life. I did not know I needed this picture. I did not know I needed this picture. I did not know I needed that picture in my life. But you know what? I'm happy I got this picture. This was definitely a reasonable development. Look, she's buying her gold coin. She got the letter. You know what, man? Maybe that Lord of the Mystery game should have a little bit of gotcha. You know, if they selling bunny girl outfits, you know, man, if they got like, oh, buy a bunny outfit for Renette. Shit. Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't mind spending $20 for an outfit. I wouldn't mind spending 20. I mean, that's 4 for the price of 1. Look at that. You get 4 outfits for the price of 1. That's a good deal, man. I think that maybe LOTM should have a little bit of gotcha in that game. All right, let's end this stream. And oh, username, bro, you missed out. We were looking at bunny artwork. We were looking at bunny outfits. All right, well, we're going to end the read through right there. So peace, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back tomorrow for more LOTM. Peace, and have an amazing day. Later, guys.